I'm Draconayr. It was wonderful seeing Valen's run, and in this time, Spyro has gotten a great glow up. And the reason we're already in the game is because there was a bid war for a color, and we should see which color he's going to be for this.
And it looks like by $1, green.
Green. Oh, he's already green. We're already in it. Perfect. All right, so if that's the case, then we're ready to start here, and time's gonna go in about 3, 2, 1, go.
Also, hey everybody, my name is Roadkill Revenge. I'm also a speedrunner for Spyro Reignited. And yeah, I'm just here to help out and cheer on Draconayr, because this game is really interesting.
I should have introduced you and I didn't. And that's
It's
my bad.
fine.
But yeah, so this game is very different in the run itself for one big reason, and that's because this game introduces a function where Spyro gets to flutter at the end of his glides, and that was not in the first game. And we're going to abuse that quite heavily to jump over some walls we shouldn't be able to. And we're going to see that first example of that here real soon.
Yeah, in addition to that, you might also be noticing that whenever Draconayr defeats an enemy, it releases a soul and a number goes up on screen. That is a different resource that is not in Spyro 1. It's actually not in Spyro 3 either. And that means that he has to defeat a certain number of enemies in order to activate certain power-ups, like the Super Glide right here. And that jump he just did, that's actually a little bit of a sequence break. You're supposed to have already purchased Climb to be able to get up there, but because of what's called a perfect hover, he is able to get up there way, way early, and so get all these gems and this orb early. Because for this run, he is going to be collecting 40 orbs. That's why it's called a 40 orb run. So yeah, as you can see there, that is our very first orb, and so we have 39 more to go. But he's also going to continue to use this super fly to just get a little bit further through the level. Yeah. Another weird thing about Spyro 2 is that you actually start inside one of the levels, and I actually think that's really cool. But there's lots of little differences between the games, but fundamentally you're still playing a little guy who is flying around and charging and flaming and collecting lots of shinies.
Yep, and a lot of these levels will actually end up being very short because of the techniques and the abuse of the hover that we have. Even this level, we're about at the end of. And a lot of that use actually also avoids our new favorite best friend, who there's an incentive for the next game, Moneybags. And that's actually what that glide earlier, using the super glide to go over that gap, that avoided paying him to get a bridge.
Yes, because the less times that we have to pay Moneybags, the less gems we have to collect in order to do so, which saves a lot of time over the course of the run.
And that is the first level.
All right, so now we're entering the first hub world. These hub worlds are essentially, just like in the first game, Nexus worlds where there'll be lots of portals that go into different other worlds. And we'll be completing certain ones of those in order to progress through the game, and also just to collect orbs along the way, as well as talismans, which those are required as well. It's 14 talismans, right? That's
I believe so, yes. Yeah. The last hub world does not have talismans, it just has more orbs, so.
Yeah, because they're used to unlock the path into the boss into the next hub world. Okay, so now we are in, I totally forgot the name of this
Colossus.
level. Colossus. I thought that's what it was, but I was like, this is Colossus? This level is interesting because it's got a lot more of those perfect hovers that I talked about. So that right here, Draconayr is about to do one of those to get up and totally like do this level in an unexpected order. This one's a little bit trickier than the other one. It requires jumping on that statue and then doing it again to get up here. So they're nicely done. Got both of those.
Yeah, not too many tries, which is good.
One thing to note too is with Spyro Reignited, it's available on both PC and console. Draconayr is running it on console, which means the route is going to be a little bit different than a PC run. There's certain things that you can and cannot do on the different versions. Notably, you're not going to be able to gain height using certain tricks, but yeah, that's not applicable to this run, so we don't really have to explain it. But here he goes, continuing to collect souls in order to activate one of those power-ups. There we go. Perfect.
And that's a super jump that we're going to use here to skip right to the end here for this orb mission. And we're also going to use it again later to go backwards through the level to get more of these green statues that we now have to flame because of that little ghost.
Yeah, so a lot of the levels have lots of different little mini games and things, which is where a lot of the orbs come from. Whereas the talismans are gained through just getting to the end of the level. So we're going to be doing a certain, we're very carefully routing to choose certain orbs that are the fastest and the easiest to get, which unfortunately means hockey.
The bane of my existence, in fact, hockey.
Sorry, all the hockey fans out there. Listen, Spyro hockey is, you probably wouldn't like it either. It's
quite RNG based a little bit. So the puck will hit different spaces at different times, and we're hoping for some good ones where he just doesn't hit them, or he hits them directly at me.
Also, I'm pretty sure this is not how real hockey is played. Feel free to correct me on that. Any hockey fans in chat, please sound off. Oh, no.
That's okay. A little bit of a mess up there, but it's fine. He was in a bad position. The hockey player will follow either the puck or where Spyro is and go to that side, so we can easily use that to manipulate just getting the puck in there, and he's very slow. That's what we were looking for.
Yeah. But again, this is mostly just RNG and finishing this up, so this might be a good time for 1 or 2 donations.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did have a few come in for that donation war. We did have one from Shallot Hair donating $20, hoping for black on Spyro. Unfortunately, they were oh so barely eked out by Oasis with a $36 donation saying green will prevail, which it did. Thank you both for your generous donations.
And that was Hockey 1. There was a bit of a mess up there at the end again, but it's fine. There's time to make up for that later. And now we get to do it again, but we get to play against somebody else. And luckily, this hockey allows you to cheat, and we're just going to flame him. And that will be the start of every round of this.
Violence.
Yeah, and every round is going to look a lot like that.
Please do.
Unless that happens. It is unless it isn't.
Ooh, that was close.
That was really close. That was good. That was
definitely made up for the time earlier, though.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of the minigames are some of the least predictable parts of some of the Spyro Reignited runs, just because of just weird things about the way that NPCs can move.
Yeah, and hockey's definitely the most. No, what's the word I'm looking for? Most different every time you do it. But luckily we're done with that, so now we can move on. And the rest of the mini games will have a lot of standard ways to do it. But now we're just going to go ahead and finish getting the rest of these statues that were possessed by the ghosts. And here we're going to use the bounce again to just kind of skip back over the level.
Yeah, the super jump is really, really useful. And you're not going to be seeing those power-ups in every single level, but in the levels that they are useful, you'll see them used in interesting ways for the speedrun.
Yeah, and then also, in the last run, there was the super glide and the supercharge that were in some of the speedways and stuff, and those were in given by the fairies or by charging along the ground, and those are now relegated to the gates instead. So all the gates have the powers, so you can see what power we get whenever they happen. Yeah, that was Colossus. The hockey is the worst part for a while, to be completely honest. Oh, there's our friend, and we're gonna run by him for a while, and we'll come back to it in a minute.
Yes, friend. Everybody loves money bags.
Our best friend bear, money bags.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Can we get some booze for our best friend? Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
And if you want to see us get revenge on Moneybags, I believe we have an incentive for that, right?
We do. In fact, we actually just had a donation come in for that. We had $25 come in from Lunao the Dragon saying, let's totally get revenge on Moneybags. Come on, furries, let's do it.
Oh,
that is for our
that's
next run. We would love to see that revenge come in.
I'm a fan of revenge, personally.
I agree. It's revenge in your name.
I know. It's my brand. Come on, help me just get that sweet revenge from my run coming up next. But so this level is another one where we have to pay attention to the number of souls. The enemies are sort of weirdly placed, though, and you also might be noticing that some of the enemies Draconayr is charging, and some of them he is flaming. That is because the different way the enemies work. You just have to use different techniques to get through different ones. But also this level is a little bit of an escort mission because as he is defeating those enemies, these little gnome guys are having to run to the gate and knock them open. So while that's happening, Draconayr is actually able to run and collect some extra gems and take advantage of that time. Because again, gems that he collects now means ones he doesn't have to go out of his way for later. Now he's going to be trying a small little skip here. Let's give it another try. This is actually a really, really tough glide. I have never been able to get that.
That is that's probably the trick I have the most trouble with in this game. You can if you're very particular, that's the hardest glide to do. You can skip getting that guy and just go straight to the end there. But I didn't get it, so I only tried twice, and then that's about the time when the door opens, when he gets the door open, so I just go up and do it normally.
So there's that supercharge that those souls were collected for, which allows us to free these women who I don't even know what's going on here.
They're hula dancing the weather to destroy this man.
As one does, yeah. Go off, queens. Anyway, here's an orb.
Yeah, and then that is the end of this level. Yeah, there's also a few times where the Zoe, the fairy, is in there, and she likes to talk to you, and you can jump over those, but I didn't manage to get it that time, but it's not too much of a loss. And the rest of the time she wants to talk to me, I will be skipping.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, they're much easier to do.
Yeah, I give you a hard time. Yeah, it's often whenever you see Draconayr do like some weird movements to like jump over just nothing in the air, usually there's an invisible trigger or something like that is being dealt with there. Oh, and now we're learning how to glide because we clearly don't know how to do that yet. So anyway, thanks, Hunter.
Yep. Good news is he'll at least give us an orb for that.
Yay.
So very easy orb.
But see, here's my question for you. If Hunter is allegedly our friend, why doesn't he just give us the orb? That's my question.
Because
also, there goes all of our gems.
Yep, that was our first money bags. He taught us how to swim, which is pretty cool.
Yes, it is. So that opens up, being able to travel to the rest of the levels in this hub world. And now we're entering Hurricos, which is one of my personal favorite levels in this game. I have a lot of favorite levels. I'll probably say that about like 7 levels.
It's mine as well, and we're going to try and do a quick thing here. So we're going to use that hover. Oh, that's okay. Dying there is pretty fine, but we're not going to get the quick cycle now with that. But we're still going to jump up here with that still.
So what he's doing here is a little wall glide, which is one of the tricks here. Now this is one of those tricks that is much harder to do on console than it is on PC, because on PC you get a little bit more height from doing this, and on console you do not. It is still possible on console, but it is much trickier. So there, good job.
For safety, I'm going to go ahead and just wait for this to go, and then we'll, because these platforms like to move, and we're going to be very safe with them.
Better safe than sorry.
For sure.
Yep, and all that was just to get over here and turn this doohickey off and get another orb.
Yep, and we're gonna do a lot of stuff for these little guys to give orbs, and
this game has a lot of good little guys.
Yeah, I agree. My favorite is in the Aquaria Towers, which is the water level that we will get to later. But I think my personal favorite trick is coming up here in a second. So we're going to talk to this guy. He's going to ask us to do some stuff, and we're going to completely ignore him. And we're just going to turn around He's got a handle buncher.
Well, go ahead and do this first.
And then this gate is a suggestion, and you can just delete it with the angle of the camera and walk right past it.
Yeah, so the angle of I guess the developers, decided they wanted you to be able to like look around in there. So rather than just like turn off the shader, they just turn off the entire barrier, so you can just walk through it. It's great. But so you might remember from the previous game, but if you haven't watched the previous Spyro run, Draconayr is collecting lots of different gems, but the different colors correlate to different values of gems. So the reason that he was very determined to get that one container was because he knew that it had a 10 gem in it, which is a pretty valuable gem. And it's definitely worth going more out of your way for more valuable gems than less valuable ones.
And less recovering from gem deficit later is very nice.
Yeah.
So now we're on Sunny Beach, and this is another level we're going to abuse with the perfect hovers. Just skip over that. This is also another little escort mission where you have these little baby turtles, and we're not going to escort them. We're just going to go to the end and finish without doing that.
Yes.
And there's also these big turtles that, where's it? There he is, that we're going to use, and they're going to go step on these pads to open doors for us. And we're also going to skip another one of those right here. With another favorite trick of mine.
This is an out of bounds skip right here. There you go, just perfect first try. Yeah, there's this little corner right there that just lets you just squeak right through, and then you do not have to wait on a turtle. We don't like waiting. We're speedrunners. Like, come on, we're not gonna wait.
Yep, and we're gonna kill a lot of these enemies to get the super. This is our first super flame power-up, which lets us shoot fireballs, and we're gonna use that to destroy these containers, which have little tiny turtles trapped in them.
Also, sorry, donors who donated for Green Spyro. He will be back, I promise. Power Up Spyro gets special treatment.
Yes, there's very few times where Spyro does not keep the color change, and that is during a few cutscenes and then the power-ups, unfortunately.
Speaking of donos, do I have a second to read another?
Yes.
All right, we have $5 from Tauserace, who is donating towards the Revenge on Moneybags incentive, and they say, orb.
For orb enjoyers, this is the game for you.
Yes, ponder the orbs. So here we're going to do another sequence skip. So over there you can see that there's a climbable wall that we'll need a power up for later, but if you use this turtle in just the right way, you can jump up there early and get to it without it. And this may take me a try or two. Yep, got it. Second try.
Nice.
And we're going to talk to this bird that wants to cook the turtles, and we're going to stop him.
Yep, by beating the ever-loving bejesus out of them. And yeah, this is, we do, so I said we don't like waiting on turtles. Unfortunately, there are some turtles that must be waited upon, and these are some of them. But luckily, there isn't any RNG to this minigame. It's just waiting for them to come out of the right tunnels at the right time.
And being very careful not to get too close to the edge, or else more turtles will spawn for some reason. I haven't quite narrowed down why that happens, but if that does happen, then they will fall in and he will summon you back because you failed. We don't want that, but luckily that didn't happen this time. So now we're going to take the power up and we're going to go back with it and get the rest of these containers, and that will be the end of the beach level.
Do you think by the end of the beach level we can hit $3,000? We are incredibly close to that.
You have about 10 seconds.
I believe in you. You know what? It's a speed run. Let's go.
Speed run those donations.
If we didn't do it, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. We can PB it next time.
Yeah, we will. We will PB it next time. All right, back to Summer Forest, though. There's luckily a couple different levels that are right here next to each other, but they're actually quite challenging in terms from like a platforming perspective. Who here likes underwater levels?
We're actually not going to do that one next.
I know, but it's coming up.
But it's coming up.
Brace yourselves,
there's only
underwater level lovers.
2 levels left before the first boss, and we're coming up on our first speedway, which is the same as the flights from the first game. Except in this run, we only do one of them, which is great. because I don't like doing that. And this is going to be very particular. I might miss the fast cycle, but we're going to do the best that we can and try and get all these. So, like I said, it's the same. And it even has the same feature where if you're closer to the water, you go faster. And we just need to go through and get all these in the phone order.
Yeah, it's actually really nice, like how much like love the Reignited developers put into like the little details like that still made it feel like the same speedway, you know?
Yeah, because I think in the first game it wasn't intentional that flying closer to the ground was faster, correct?
I do not know. But regardless, it's nice. Listen to the little things. I don't know about you, I totally grew up playing Spyro, and so I feel like I would have noticed, even if I wouldn't have been able to like describe what it was. Okay, but here we go, just gotta recover this boat.
Yeah, just the boat, and then the two that I missed earlier, which was a little mishap, but ultimately not too bad.
Good news is we can supercharge right over to them, and there we go.
And that is the first and only flight level we will be doing. And it is now time for everyone's favorite type of level, water level.
Yes, now we get the water. I hope that nice speedway was a lovely little break for you to get ready for this water level.
Luckily,
it's not that bad.
Luckily, they have my favorite citizens, and we will see them shortly.
But first, there's an orb just sort of hanging out over here, so that's an easy one to go ahead and grab, as well as some good gems. More money for the bear.
Yeah, keeping the citizens of this level trapped away, and freeing them only at the cost of 200 gems. All right, so these are our little guys. They're seahorses who we're going to mostly ignore. That was unfortunate, but not too bad.
So their whole thing in this level is that these meanies are taking the water away from them for some reason, but they're seahorses, so they need it. Which leads to one of my favorite lines from one of the NPCs. I don't know if we get to hear it in the run or not.
Most likely not.
Okay. But regardless, this level is pretty straightforward. You just gotta go through and press the buttons, fill the water back up, pay moneybags more money. Not only did we have to pay to get into this level, he also charges us to rent his submarine. Yep. So can we get some more booze for the bear? Thank you. It feels so good to hear that. It makes it hurt a little bit less.
Yeah. If only there was a way to maybe take some, I don't know, like revenge maybe on him. Wouldn't that be weird?
I think that would be maybe something we could look into, perhaps. That is a $750 incentive amount. We are currently sitting at $290.10, because why not? And as I said, we are super close to 3,000 as well, so please get in for that revenge incentive. Or if you're more of a pacifist, you can also just help me choose who or what color Spyro's going to be for the next one. So if that's more up your alley, if you're not really, Moneybags isn't on your list, at least help me pick a color.
Yeah.
If he's not, you're wrong, but, you know.
That's okay.
Thank you so much.
So we missed it a little bit there, but the reason the seahorses are my favorite is because when you're skipping the text, they go, awa, and then you leave. And now we're just talking to Hunter again, who is breathing underwater. And he wants us to train his manta ray, which once again gives us purple Spyro. So don't fret, green will return. And it's just a pretty on-rails course here, so it's not super... There's a little bit of nuance with getting a few of the gems, but otherwise just kind of follow the seahorse and fly through the rings. And then this will be the end of the level here in a second after another gem.
Yep, luckily there is enough time between some of the rings to be able to get those gems. So there at least there's, it's not like the worst on-rails section for a speedrun.
Yeah. So we're just gonna swim over here, we'll get two of these, and then this one. And then that's it. And then we're about to go fight the first boss, Crush. That's the other part that's my favorite. The they make some fun noises, and I appreciate them for it. So they are my favorite citizen. All right, so I think we have blue spark, so I'm going to go ahead and get one of these sheep for him and get us back to full health. And then we're going to go, whoops, talk to me. I scared her and she didn't want to talk to me.
Come on, Allura, we got somewhere to be.
So this boss isn't that bad. There is a way to hit him twice at once. I have not quite mastered it yet. We will see if we get it. But otherwise, this boss is fairly easy.
So while that shield's up, you cannot hit him. So you basically, Draconayr just let him hit him there on purpose, just in order to get to where he can hit him faster, rather than waiting out his entire attack animation. So that's intentional damage there.
Yeah.
You know, technically, he hurts himself. You don't hurt him, I guess. But,
True.
You
You
know,
flame him and it annoys him, but
he gets angry.
otherwise he just kind of does it to himself.
But luckily, the sheep drop here. It's another thing we haven't explained yet is that all the little the little harmless creatures that you kill give you health. So, you know, we're a little dragon. We gotta eat, right? Even though it's not us, I guess it's Sparks. But you know.
Yeah. He's protecting us.
Yeah. But yeah, so luckily during this boss, several of those fodder will spawn, so it's not really a big deal to take intentional damage here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get any double hits, so we will have to dodge this move because I'm out of sparks. And then that's the end of the fight, and he hurts himself, and we're done. And now we are going to move on to the next hub world.
The fact that it doesn't say crush crushed is a disappointment.
Missed opportunity. Who was that? Was that our favorite bear? What's he doing here? If only we could stop him.
Yeah, I think he's actually the villain of this game, actually.
Kinda. He hides a lot of orbs behind him.
Trilogy. He's the mastermind. He's the one who's there throughout it all. Yeah. Okay. So this level has also some escort quest elements to it. There's these little dudes, which once you free them, they will activate different ways to continue through the level.
And this level has a very interesting trick in it. Two very interesting tricks, but I like the first one a lot. So we're gonna grab these guys for health, and we really want to get more of these enemy souls, and we'll use that for later.
Yeah. So, but there's one complication about the souls in this level, which is that you have to pay money bags in order to get to enough enemies to activate the supercharge. So what Draconayr is going to do right here is attempt to do what is called a soul dupe. So if he kills these two enemies fast enough, and then goes and gets checkpointed by Zoe before their bodies despawn, and then runs off and kills himself, he'll actually keep the souls, but the enemies will respawn, which will allow him to kill them again and get another soul. But it's very, very tricky and tight, so it might take a couple tries here.
This one's pretty easy to mess up. I didn't get it the first time, but I got at least one of them that time. Yeah, I only got one of them, so we'll have to get that guy and then do it again. And that should be enough, and then we can finally move on.
And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to activate a supercharge that is going to be useful for getting an orb, but also for doing another skip that we'll explain here in a moment. I said, I say supercharge. Power up.
The Superfly, yeah.
Superfly. So now he's just going and cleaning out the rest of these souls, getting some gems along the way, and making it down.
Oh, that wasn't enough. I'll have to... So unfortunately, that wasn't enough. I guess I must have misdone my math, which is unfortunate. So we'll have to restart the level here. So that's not great, but hopefully we don't lose too much time on that.
All good.
Yeah, that one's really easy to mess up because the positioning on it is very particular.
We're speedrunners. We don't do math. We go fast.
Yeah, we do the math. The hardest part about it is getting Zoe to actually give you the checkpoint.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she just won't, even though you get like really close to her. So we'll just have to go through this part again. Luckily, we got all the gems, so we can just kind of go through and kill these guys real quick.
One thing I didn't explain though is normally right here, you're actually supposed to be freeing the little guys, but he's doing a skip right there in order to, he's doing a perfect cover to jump on the torch and then jump on up here.
Yeah,
so now here's a soul dupe again.
I bonked.
Bonk.
I'm actually going to die to reset that.
So in order to get the dupe, in order to do it fast enough, you actually have to do one flame and do a little spin while the single flame is still out, because that's one thing you can do is you can, the flame, the hitbox will actually carry around with you as you rotate. So there you go. You can get them both at once, get the checkpoint, and I think that looks good.
That should do it.
That looks good.
Yeah. But if you charge too fast when you flame, you'll bonk against the enemy because it'll act as if you charged into the enemy, which is unfortunate.
Because their hitbox doesn't go away.
That's interesting. I've never, that should not have worked
let's try this again.
We're going to try this one more time. This will be the last time, I promise. It's hype, I promise, I swear.
This is all Moneybag's fault, I can tell.
It is. Well, the good news is, or bad news is, there is a backup, which is just to simply go ahead and pay Moneybags and then just back up a whole some extra gems.
We will do that if that doesn't pan out here. We will try this one more time.
Yes, you got it. Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm, yeah.
It is not an easy skip. It's
but we will do it this time, and then we will skip Moneybags for the sake of the incentive. This just gives people more time to donate to get revenge, you know?
Yeah.
Which you should totally do, because it's for a good cause, and also teaching Moneybags a lesson. Whoops, jumped right over it.
One thing about Spyro is that there's almost always a torch skip. They always give torches a hitbox, and that's usually useful at least one place in any Spyro run. Okay, this is the one.
She didn't checkpoint.
She didn't.
See, so that's the example where she
you were right next to her, and she
quite.
just said, "No,
yeah, she just says no.
Not today."
The good news is you can try this as many times as you have lives, and hopefully I don't have to do this another time. And just get real close. That should work. That checkpoint. This is it.
All right, come on.
And we
there
got
we
it.
go.
All right, there we go.
Yes,
so now,
let's get some hype.
Ooh, it's hype.
Yeah, so what you want to see is you want to see 6 souls, but you want both the enemies to be there. That's ideally the ideal situation.
And I think I miscounted the other time.
Yeah, I think
so
I did too.
didn't quite get it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had to do that. But luckily, we got through that. And hopefully, that's the worst trick I end up doing.
Here we go. So now he just has to go through and clean out these fleas.
I think they're fleas, yeah.
Ice fleas? Just normal things to exist in a tundra. I hope not, but yeah, this is pretty straightforward. These guys are just on a loop here. They will respawn, though, if Draconayr misses any of them. So they're on a little bit of an awkward timer.
Yeah, we will have to redo the first one again, but that's fine. And that gives us a chance to get that red gem right there.
Okay, so now what Draconayr is about to do is a really, really cool skip where he is essentially going to use this Superfly and fly through the invisible barrier. So nicely done. That was beautiful.
Yeah, perfect. That made up for the other thing. But normally there's a invisible ceiling there, and if you use both movement options, that is to say the stick and the D-pad, you can trick it into thinking that it doesn't have to stop you. So we skipped that section of the level.
Yeah, because normally that ceiling is there to prevent you from being able to just fly around wherever you want. But yeah, you can trick it if you are a cool speedrunner.
Yeah, so that's Crystal Plains. A little bit of a mishap there, but hopefully that's the only one.
Well, what's not a mishap is that we just hit $3,000.
I clap, but I'm playing.
Let me know when I can read off some of those donos.
I'm gonna do one thing here, and then you'll be able
Absolutely.
to. All right, so now we're going to the Skelos Badlands, which has a lot of using these little orbs that Spyro will eat. And we need to spit them out at stuff. But there's a little jar at the end of the level, so we're just going to use this orb and hit the jar at the end of the level with it. And that will teleport us to the end of the level.
Nice.
And we got that first try.
Very, very nice.
So now's a good time to redonos because we're just going to grab some gems and then restart the level.
Awesome. So we have $50 from Just Some Andy, who says, I managed to give Moneybags a bit of a shake and was able to take some gems from them to send over to the event. Absolutely wonderful cause. Wishing everyone at Fastest Furs all the best. Y'all are amazing. We also have $10 from Spyro Valatham, who says, the tyranny of Moneybags must end. And we have $6 from the cats Castamere and Pigeon, who say, cats refuse to participate in capitalism, and so should dragons. Revenge on Moneybags. And one more that I hope will start a little bit of debate, perhaps among the donations or yourselves. $10 from Kurgiby, who says, who's cuter, Elora or Hunter?
Oops.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see some debating on those donos.
Get in the chat.
I think we all know the right answer, though. I don't need to say. Y'all know. But donate to let me know.
Yeah. All right. So now we restart the level so we can get back to the beginning, and we talk to one of the citizens who lets down this bridge and tells us to protect their friends from these Velociraptor-looking dudes. And we're gonna do that again because they sent more Velociraptors, and then that's gonna be the end of this level. Right after this wave, and he'll give us an orb for each of them, gratefully, and then we will be done here.
Luckily, though, it seems like they're kind of spawning randomly, but they are always going to be hatching in the exact same order. So if you know exactly the order to go, it is not that difficult. I don't know about y'all, but if you play this game as a kid, I thought it was impossible.
I remember it being much harder as a child, for sure. Maybe I was just worse at video games back then, but...
What? No way.
Imagine. But yeah, so that was Skelos Badlands, and now we're going to move on to probably what's the shortest level in the run. We're gonna go Scorch here, but first we have to talk to our best friend Moneybags so that he can teach us how to climb walls.
Finally, so this is actually the thing that Draconayr's done several skips in order to be able to sequence break and do before he paid Moneybags here. But unfortunately, we do eventually have to learn how to climb walls, not just to get up here, but also in order to navigate certain levels from here on.
Yep. All right, so now we're entering Scorch. This is probably the shortest level. And it will be very quick because we will be skipping most of it. So normally in this level, you help out our friends Hansel and Gretel, who are spies in this version of their existence. And they want you to lower these flags so you can move forward. But we're going to use our very nice flutter there to skip most of it and get all these gems. And then we can just simply fly down to the last one and use only that one. And that's the only one we care about because it will advance us to the end of the level. Nope.
There we go. So that was essentially just utilizing some of the unique geometry of the platforms in this level. They're really weird shaped, and so they allow you to sort of jump up them in interesting ways, which is very convenient for taking interesting routes through them. But there's a lot of more gems up here, and just some climbing up the hill, and then we get another talisman.
And then that's the end.
It is also the end of something else, if I can chime in.
Oh, go ahead.
The incentive to get revenge on Moneybags has been met.
Let's go.
That is thank you to a $420 donation from Sonic Mega, who says, it seems only fitting that we use the power of green in order to defeat the rich.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that generous donation.
Truer words have never been spoken.
I'm so ready to torch that nerd. Not Sonic Mega.
Maybe
The
Sonic.
bear.
The bear. It's on you. This is your responsibility now. All right, so our next level is going to be Fracture Hills. This is probably my favorite themed level because
Same.
we have our good satyr friends, and they all play the bagpipes.
Everybody knows that satyrs are native to Scotland. Right?
Yep, and they have this these bagpipes have this fun magical power where they will cause any creature nearby to dance. Observe. You can see the pig in the background, and he's dancing.
I'm
And
dancing too. You just can't see me.
Yeah, you can't see him. I will
All
ensure.
the furries
I will ensure that the
everywhere.
pig lives and is allowed to dance.
To be
It's
fair,
hard out.
it is a bop.
It kind of is. If I learned the bagpipes, this is the song I would learn.
But anyway, so once again, collecting souls because there is a supercharge. It's actually supercharged this time. I didn't misspeak. Because that is going to allow us to get, believe it or not, more orbs to ponder.
They're collecting orbs.
All right, so there's only one more satyr left, and we're getting all these. There is one trick in this level that's slightly difficult. We'll see if I get it on the first try. Hopefully I do to make up for the mistakes earlier. But now we've saved all of them, so we have freed the building in the middle that was crushed by stone. And we will go there in a minute to reap the rewards of that. But first, we're going to come over here, and we're going to get the supercharge. And we're going to go talk to a friend who dabbles in alchemy. And we have Hunter over here, and he's kind of stuck in some rocks. You can see him right there.
As one does.
So we're going to talk to this guy, and he has a solution that will destroy the rocks. But we're going to go do some other stuff while he tries to maneuver through that. And if I get this trick here, I didn't. We'll come back for that on another try.
So
But,
basically, you're supposed to knock all those rock golems out of the way in whatever path that the alchemist is taking. But if you knock the first one out of the way and just leave, for whatever reason, I don't know if the golems despawn or if they just don't do stuff while they're off screen, but he'll just do the rest of the path and then teleport us over there when he's done.
Yep, and then as soon as we go back into range of it, it will just complete it automatically like this. So we didn't even have to protect him.
And there we go. An easy orb.
So now, because I missed that trick the first time, we're going to have to give that another shot here. Perfect, and we're just going to do a little loop-loop and go right in there.
Nice. That was really well done. So normally you use that supercharge to go all the way around the level on a really convoluted path in order to get to where Draconayr just got with it. But through some clever jumping, you can go much, much faster path.
Yep, and just skip all of it and get that orb. And that's Fracture Hills. All right, so we're about halfway done with the levels in this world. This is definitely the densest world. We're going to head to this level, Magma Cone, which has another one of my favorite clips that just lets you skip most of the level. But first, we get to play a nice minigame with Hunter. That is the bane of my existence because another RNG-based minigame.
Is anybody hungry for popcorn? Anybody? Because we've got some coming up. Don't you worry.
I'm always hungry for popcorn.
Yeah, me too.
Love popcorn.
Other than this popcorn. So this minigame is essentially a hunter being Hunter and being like, I can get more of these things than you. But it's totally random, the order in where these pop up. They are, you can tell where they're going to be based on these like little streams that come up. But sometimes they'll pop up right in front of him, and sometimes they'll be like impossible to reach. So it's really you just have to hope and spin around the camera a lot. Luckily, there's not really much of a risk of Hunter actually winning. It's just a matter of how fast you can get to them. He can still mess you up, though, by just being like that, right next to one. You can actually snipe them from him, but it's really sort of narrow to do.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more unlucky attempts I've had.
There we go.
But luckily, that's the only time. He'll ask us to do it again. We're going to agree, and then we're just going to ditch him.
Yeah, we'll do another one.
Yeah,
Not.
and then we're just going to leave. So now we're gonna do one of the most interesting skips. So we're gonna fly around the cone here. Normally you can go around it a different way, but we're gonna climb right to the top and jump off, and we're gonna fly all the way through here to like near the beginning, and we're gonna use the flutter again to cheat and get out of bounds. And then we're gonna do it again to go here, and then we're gonna do it again to go over here in this lava, and I'm gonna burn here, but that's fine.
Awesome, and believe it or not, that skips more money bags.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah!
We're gonna to the top. And then, unfortunately, I don't have sparks anymore because I took 2 hits from that because my initial jump wasn't super precise. So this next bit is going to be a bit harder if I don't do it correctly.
So you might have noticed that that he picked up one of those like spittable rocks. This is another place where those are going to be used. So these enemies, they're always in the same place, but they're just very awkward to hit because there's so many of them that are so spread around. These like party lava penguins. But so Draconayr is going to be just repeatedly grabbing this one because it's much easier than flying around trying to find a whole bunch of other ones. But this sequence is going to be really challenging. It can be actually quite easy to take damage here on accident, so this is a little bit risky. There we go, nice. Another reason this is a little bit difficult is because while you're flying, actually aiming where you are where you think you are is very difficult because while Spyro was flying, he sort of tilts up and down, and that actually affects the angle that he shoots the thing. Luckily, Draconayr was able to pick up an extra fodder there to make it a little bit safe, and got that last one that he missed. So that was really nicely done.
Yep.
That was quite clean.
Yeah. Sometimes I messed that one up, but not having sparks there was it was pretty risky to do what I did, but it worked out. So. If I had died, I would have just respawned at the end, and I would have just talked to the other guy and got the first couple again.
The Magma Cone Satyrs were very happy for you.
Yes, yes.
As was I.
We do have a few more donations if we have a moment.
Yeah, we got a second.
Wonderful. So we have $25 from Scottish Oatcake, which sounds really amazing. They say, can confirm bagpipes are a bop. Totally not biased. And that goes towards purple in the Spyro color bid war. We have another donation towards purple coming from Adalor. That's $12, who says, hello from the audience. $3,500 hype! Also, purple Spyro, best Spyro. And then again for purple, because clearly purple is where it's at tonight, we have $20 from Draconayr's mom, who says, proud of you, you're killing it.
Thanks, Mom. All right, so here's another escort level. This game loves those escort levels, where we have this little hippo guy and these apples that he can eat to make him big, or I think they're cherries, actually. So we're just going to carry him through the level, but right there we're going to abandon him just for a second, and we're going to come over here and do another trick to skip right to the end of the level again.
This is another fun trick.
Perfect. So we do that.
Nicely done.
So we can talk to this guy at the end and summon these 3 thieves for an orb. And we do that early so that going through the level initially, we can get them instead of having to go through it a second time.
That's another really fun trick. Just casually just doing a little rocket ride. So surprisingly, even though this game has a lot of like quote-unquote escort missions, they're still not necessarily stand around and do nothing missions. There's always tight windows in order to accomplish other tasks that you're going to be doing later. This is a very good level for exemplifying that.
Yeah, I'm spending a little bit of time trying to get fodder, extra fodder as well. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
Go forward.
Go forth. Come on, little buddy.
That is the thing. He will stand there and wait for you at certain locations for you to show up. So that's kind of why this isn't an escort mission. But luckily, the important spots that he will wait are set. So here's one of those thieves, and what we're going to do is damage ourselves so that he runs right into us, and then collect the lamp that he stole.
Nice.
So we're going to grab the orb, get this guy, and then use it to destroy the thing so he gets the cherry. And then we're going to abandon him again. to go get the other thieves.
Yeah, so normally these thieves, like you might be familiar with the egg thieves from the first game. The little jerks who run around and are very, very difficult to catch. This game has them in this form, and but luckily you don't have to completely chase them around. Just there, Draconayr used one of the spitting orbs in order to just shoot one from a distance, which still counts as collecting the item. And there, just in that last little window of time, he was able to jump down there and grab those gems in order to get teleported back up there for collecting those, for defeating those thieves. And that also happens to be where our little friend had managed to get.
Yep, and that's those gems came from the rocket that I had used to skip the level to get to the end.
A lot of cool routing in that level for different things all adding up to the end. I love that. And 2 bonks for good luck. I saw those.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. Well, it's the second game, so you have to bonk 3 times when you leave levels.
Oh yeah.
I'm setting the precedent now for you. All right, so now, oh my goodness, I've never seen that before. He really was airing right there. So now we get to one of the trickiest levels in terms of jumps, but we're going to take a little detour up the castle to get a few of the... sorry about
that was... Those things are surprisingly slippery, okay.
Sometimes I just lose the movement for a second. I'm very momentum-based, so... But yeah, so we're going to fly way over here, and there's an orb sitting alone on this little platform, and then we're going to head to Zephyr, which was the level you saw me start in. And that has probably the most interesting clips in the game for this run.
But guess what we have to do to open the portal?
Yep.
That's right.
Our best friend, the money bags.
Pay more money to the bear. Okay, but right here at the very beginning of this level, Draconayr's going to jump straight into doing some of those clips. So this terrain here on the side actually has some geometry that doesn't quite line up with the wall, and you're actually able to use that to clip out of bounds here and then back in bounds, which is much faster than going through the level as intended. But it's a little bit tricky, this wall glide here.
Yeah, this one can be pretty hard. Sometimes I get it first try, and other times it takes a second. That one was really close, but
yeah.
This will take a few tries. But once I get it, we'll be good. Ooh, that one looked good.
And this is one of those tricks that, again, is harder on console because he's not able to gain any height. He can only lean into the wall to maintain his height. But a hover is usually enough to get up there. You just have to find just the right spot.
Just having some trouble here. The angle is being a bit difficult.
To be fair, Spyro does blend in with the grass, so you know.
Yeah, green's not my luckiest color, but we're rolling it for the viewers. And there we go. And now we can just jump and glide and fly through the wall here. Oh, that's unfortunate.
No!
It was probably faster to quit there and just try again.
Yeah. So what happened there is there's a wall where you can fly through it backwards, like right there, but it is kind of you can't really see where you're going because there's just a lot of like foliage and stuff in the way. So it can be easy to miss unless you get just the right angle going towards it.
And that wall, typically I aim for the right because it's angled that way. But I was going towards the left, which is slightly further away, so I think I just barely missed it.
Yep. And the reason why he quit out there is because actually under the world on most levels, because they're all self-contained and you're not supposed to be able to get outside the level, there's actually no death plane. So you can fall forever on some of them. I actually don't know if there's one on this level. I figure there's not.
There is not. The amount of practice I did,
you know,
which you wouldn't know watching me do this. The amount of practice I did experience some falling under the level a few times. There we go.
All right.
There we go. And that's what we like to
nice,
see. Okay.
Nice.
So hopefully the second one will go better because we're going to do it right here immediately.
Yeah, we're not done. We have another couple little clips here. So this one's also really interesting. So again, this level just has so much terrain.
Missed it there.
Missed it, but then we can just get right back up here. No problem to retry. This level has so much terrain and that has weird hitboxes on the side of the arena. And so that just allows us to take some of these weird little decorative things. So these are just boxes that are here just for no reason. But you can jump on them, go around here, precisely go around the corner. And this one's tricky because you actually have to glide past that corner and hover around it. That's why it's very easy to do that and fall all the way off.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that. This one's really, really hard.
Yeah, this is definitely the one I tend to have more trouble with when I'm not in the zone. Oh, that was a bad charge.
Yeah, I'm not a runner of this game, but I have like tried some of these tricks, and this is one that I've never been able to do. So.
I can't seem to be able to do it right now either.
I shouldn't have said anything. Now I cursed you.
Yeah, now it's
cursed
cursed.
you.
Look at you done. That's okay. We'll get it here in the next few tries.
Can we get some hype for this really awesome?
Yeah, give me some hype.
Let's get it. Let's go. Come on, Spyro.
All right, this is the one. I can feel it. I can't use the incentive to do money bags anymore because we already got it.
Well, let's get Spyro there then.
True. I seem to be messing it up. The nerves are getting to me.
You got this. You got this.
I'm just so excited for Moneybags to get his comeuppance, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I got stuck there for a second. The trick with this one is hovering early and then using the hover to go around the gate like that. But I can't seem to get it. But there's really not much more to it than that.
But it is a very, very tight window because you can't see what you're trying to land on.
Yeah.
And for a lot of these tricks, that makes it really hard for you to actually like gauge and calculate. You just have to build up the muscle memory, and even then, it's like when you can't see what you're doing, there's always room for failure.
I was practicing this a ton, and I just can't seem to get it. And sometimes the mood just has to hit you. That one should have made it.
You're getting close.
I feel like some of these are being very picky. Whoops. Okay, I just collect myself. Very close. So what I'm trying to do is the invisible wall, or the side of the level. You can walk along it and make it right to the end of the level.
Yes, it's a very important, very challenging skit.
Yeah. And then it's also easy to fall off afterwards, so let's pray I don't do that, because this isn't going amazingly.
You got this. That one looked like it had it.
Yeah, I'm actually a little curious as to why it's.
That one was I'm getting a little suspicious.
Yeah.
The game got patched.
I think it might have. I think the game got patched before my run happened. Hold on, I think I got it. I got it this time. Nope, that wasn't it. I didn't feel it that time. Oh, that was too early. I've never had this much trouble before. I don't know what's going on.
Well, could we just go through levels intended?
We could, yes, and we'll do that here.
I'll give it
a few more tries, and then we'll do that.
Come on, some more hype. Let's go.
Oh, that was it. Oh no. If I fall down again, we'll go through the levels intended for sure. Oh, you're right.
We can't let it happen.
Do it or Moneybags wins.
The hope of the people. Yeah!
Yeah, we got it! Hey, Moneybags doesn't win today.
Now don't fall off.
I got it. We're good.
Woo!
All right, and now we can just go straight to the end of the level. There we go.
So this is really funny. So normally you're supposed to use a cannon to blow up all this TNT, but you can actually get over there anyway, and he just still talks to you like through the TNT.
Yeah.
And you can actually, each one of the individual things of TNT has its own hitbox. So you can use that to climb up them and then get back over here out of bounds. And yeah, as you can see, the hitboxes of this outside terrain is a little.
Okay, so a little bit of a mess up there, so we won't get the fast one, but I jumped a little late, so I missed it.
All good. Zephyr is, in my opinion, like one of the most stressful levels of this run, especially because it's like over halfway in, right? Or around halfway.
Yeah, this is where the gauntlet of the run starts to happen.
Yeah.
And we're going to use these plants to get up here. The easiest way I've found to do this is to just do that and then try and perfect hover it.
Yeah, and one thing about this is a backup strat. You actually can get straight to the end, but luckily this one is much easier backupable. So there you go.
That was close. I don't know what happened there. I got stuck a little bit. Oh, I need the other plant.
Oh no.
That was a mess up on my part.
All good, all good.
That's fine.
Once we get out of Zephyr, it will be smooth sailing.
We'll go the normal way. We'll show people the normal way. This is what it's like to play it casually.
Let's just take a breath, grow some plants.
Oh, they almost pushed me off. We're good. Yeah, Zephyr is definitely the hardest level, I would say, to do.
Nice.
But with that, we are now done with it.
We're free.
And instead of leaving, we're going to go to a different level to fast track getting to Breeze Harbor, which is our next level. Can I get a time check?
You can. You are at 59:18.
Perfect.
All right, so yeah, so using the guidebook there, it actually lets you fast travel between levels, and so rather than walk all the way over there, like you said, he's just going to go there and immediately leave the level. And these, there's 2 levels here in Autumn Plains that I think are really interesting because they're paired levels. You have Zephyr and Breeze Harbor, and they're like 2 sides of like a war, which is really funny to me. Because it's like the worms versus the birds. I would ask for the bird and the worm furries to sound off with their donations, but I doubt there's too many worm furries. But if you're out there...
if you exist.
You haven't seen Worm on a String furries?
Yes! Let's vote for the worm on a string or the bird people. Let's go. Okay, so this level's really interesting. It involves lighting these fires to activate like that whirlwind right there, and also using lots of different tanks and also some interesting little movement skips. So right now, Draconayr is getting in this tank in order to shoot these weird mine guys. And normally you're supposed to get these ones he's shooting at now from somewhere else, but you can actually reach them from here, which is really, really great. But this is really finicky. Missing them is very easy. They are on a set cycle, but the cycle can be really unpredictable, and if you get off, you kind of just have to start shooting and hope.
There's one.
There we go. There's one.
Oh, the other one slipped by. We'll
you just kind of have to shoot.
Shots.
Yeah.
And there's the other.
But that still saves time over running around and getting them the intended way, even if you have to just sit there and do it. So right now he's doing some more blind shots to hit some stuff over here, and is going to be using the terrain here, the hitbox on this window, and then doing a perfect hover to sequence break. So this is normally the trolley.
Donate $1 if you had trouble with the trolley.
Trouble with the trolley, eh? Well, we're unfortunately not going to see the trolley more than just then, but we do use it to get to the end of the level.
That wasn't going to make it.
That was a good call. That was a good call to back out of that jump. So he's going to be jumping to this pipe.
Ah, dang it.
Oh gosh, the hitbox on that pipe is a little bit weird. It's kind of rounded. It's not actually just like squared off, so getting up there can be a pain.
Yeah, so that'll take. That's definitely the scariest jump in the run, because if you fail it, you get all the way back here, and sometimes that building jump doesn't cooperate very much.
One thing you also might notice is that there's these weird cog things in the air. You're normally supposed to collect those, but you can only collect them on the trolley. So even though you can get up there, you cannot do the mini game.
I pulled out too soon on that one. That one's on me. That one was in fact a skill issue.
All good. The curse of Zephyr.
For sure. Yeah.
Listen, this battlefield is hard on everybody. Okay, it's.
Yeah, it can be. This one can be tough.
The worm people, the birds, and little dragons too.
So we'll give it one more try, and then. Oh, that was too soon. I have a very specific way I like to do this. Just like that. There we go.
Now it's in the bag.
And with that, we can skip right to the end of the level. That only took 3 tries. That wasn't that bad.
Nah.
Sometimes it takes me more, but that definitely made up for all of the mistakes earlier. But
and all of that was unintended movement. Like, you're not supposed to be able to be over there. You're not supposed to climb along that thing. So.
Yeah, and luckily there's a couple extra lives here that I will be taking advantage of just in case. And we're going to collect a bunch of gems here, and we're going to use the last cannon here to get rid of the rest of these mine floating mine things. They do have faces, which you can now see.
For some reason.
And that will teleport us to this guy who will give us an orb. And instead of leaving the level, we're going to go do some cleanup in Summer Plains, or Summer Forest, and grab a few loose orbs around as well.
Yeah, because when we were here earlier, we didn't have some of the ability to get to these places, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was Breeze Harbor, which has the scary jump. But that's the last level before our next boss, who is the bane of the leaderboard. We're going to be fighting Gulp, who has a ton of health and not a ton of easy ways to fight him. But before that, we're going to collect that orb. We're going to go over here. There was a spot where I jumped past Zoe to skip dialogue and went into this level, if you recall. And right next to that, there is a thing to climb. But now that we can climb walls, we can actually make use of that. And then we will teleport back to Autumn Plains.
Yeah, so Gulp is definitely kind of notorious among, especially Spyro Reignited speedrunners, because he will make you cry.
He has, in fact, made me cry before.
But not today.
Not today, no. If the worst that can happen is it just goes poorly. Luckily, in this boss, in Crush, he will drop sheep. But after a while, after a certain point, he will stop dropping sheep. Gulp will, in Gulp, you have access to sheep as long as you have low health, basically.
But funnily enough, he will also eat them and regain health.
He will,
you let him.
so you have to be very careful. But the reason we use the guidebook to teleport from Breeze Harbor is because coming straight here, teleporting here lets us get a few extra gems before getting teleported to Allura and the boss fight proper.
Okay, so since Draconayr is probably going to want to focus here for a moment, the way Gulp works is essentially that you are relying on the random drops of these eggs from these pterodactyls. They can drop 3 different things, but they start off, you get a couple cycles first that are a little bit more predictable. They will drop barrels that are things that you can headbutt into Gulp. They will eventually also drop bombs, which you can flame to hit into Gulp. And they will also drop rockets, which essentially will track Gulp. However, it is possible to make it a little bit faster by doing 2 of them in one cycle. But you have to rely on the RNG of these pterodactyls, and you have to rely on not getting hit by Gulp, which is actually quite difficult if you're not, because there's so many things you have to be paying attention to at once, with Gulp's movements, where the pterodactyls are, and what the pterodactyls are dropping, and what things they have dropped are next to each other. And also the pterodactyls can just get caught in the rafters sometimes and take 10 years to drop eggs.
Yeah, so what can happen is if you time the hit on Gulp correctly, hopefully like that, it will not actually destroy the items. So what you can do, whenever he gets hit, he'll do that stomp, and it'll destroy any other existing items on the field, and also any eggs the pterodactyls are carrying. But if you time the hit correctly, then as the items are hatching from the eggs, then they will retain. And you just saw me do it right there with that 3rd rocket, so I was able to get 3 hits on him because the rockets were there.
Which is ideal, yeah.
I just also see another 2 rockets, which is awesome.
Yeah, once they start dropping all 3, you really want the rockets. They move the fastest and are the easiest to hit him with. That egg was right in the way.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Luckily, that one in front of me was also a rocket. So
that was pretty good.
We'll go ahead and keep this rocket and hopefully get another hit on him.
Yeah, so you might be wondering why he isn't just hitting him with a rocket. It's because he's trying to save it in order to try and get either a 2 or a 3 hit at once.
Yeah, so at this point, that was unlucky.
That can also happen.
Oh, well, that's fine.
There you go, so I'll probably try one more time. Oh.
I got hit by that one, but it was worth it, to be honest.
Yeah. Sometimes you just are ready for the fight to be over.
So back on the phases. So the first thing, they will always drop barrels first, and they will always drop bombs on the first hit. So you want to try and avoid getting the bombs by skipping them with the strat there. But luckily now it's only 1 hit. So any item will do. And after about, I think it's 5 health, he'll start eating them, and then it also becomes RNG.
Oh, there's an egg.
See if I can get to it in a minute. It's a rocket. Perfect. And that's gold. That was genuinely a really good gold.
That was a quite good gold. If you can get 1 3-hit, and yeah, like honestly, that's solid.
Okay, so now we are in the final world, the winter other biome that I forget, winter forest, I think. I don't think that's right.
I keep thinking of the other games.
Yeah, right. So this one's gonna go really fast. Because there's only 3 levels we're gonna do, and then it'll be ripped down.
Yep, and that is because we don't need talismans anymore. Because for Ripto, rather than needing a number of talismans to get into the boss, you need the 40 orbs that we've been talking about. Yep. So now we're just going for orbs. So this is Mystic Marsh. This is actually a really interesting level with a really goofy scavenger hunt, but we're not going to do any of that. He's just going to go straight to the end by, again, abusing some of the terrain here. And then just going and talking to the end of the level and just getting this orb here.
Yep. And we have exactly the amount of gems that I wanted to end this level with.
I was just about to say, your gem count is perfect.
It was perfect. And that was the whole level. That actually might be shorter than Scorch, now that I think about it. But yeah, that level went perfectly, jumping on the waterfall to skip it. And then also, that level doesn't have a cutscene at the end from the guy getting the orb. But that's it. So now this will be our last time talking to our best friend Bear in this game.
Say bye.
He's going to teach us how to head bash. Say good riddance.
See, I appreciate you paying him all of this because it means that in Spyro 3, I get to already do all that stuff at the start of the game.
Yep. And now we're going to go to Metropolis. And this one's really interesting because we're going to have to pay attention to souls again. But we don't really need to do anything about it because there's an enemy with a pig and they strap a rocket to themselves and they just take themselves out and then I still get the soul. And there's one of them right now, so keep an eye on the top of the screen here there it is, there's the soul we need, courtesy of the pig. So we don't even have to worry about it and we'll be using a very fun superpower later.
All right, but first, another little mini game here. This one's really, really straightforward. For whatever reason, there's a bowl here that's shooting bombs. You just gotta flame them right back at him, and this one's very easy. If you just sort of move in a circle, he'll be very predictable about the pattern. And the game is very good about, like, when you flame them, it will put them, like, right into the little mini boss here. So.
And that was a perfect ox.
Nice.
Didn't hit the wall that time. Sometimes I hit that wall because of the angle that I try to charge out of the room. Oh, got caught by the laser, but it's fine.
So the reason we need head bash is to get in here, but also to activate these things right here. They only activate with the head bash.
And we're about at the end of the level here, but there's going to be a little bit of extra stuff we're going to do. So we're going to get the orb from the end here, and if you notice, this gate has multiple things on it. So we're going to get a multi-power up, and we're gonna do this mini game where there's sheep saucers flying around, and we gotta take care of them with this power up that gives us all the supers. Which means, sorry, green Spyro fans, but they always go on a set trajectory, so we can very easily just kind of reach them as they're going along their path. And we're going to do that a second time here with 5, and that will be the end of the level.
What's always amused me about this, too, is that for whatever reason, this lady has more orbs than anybody else in the entire game. She's got 3 of them. So we definitely want to make sure that while we're here, we get all those orbs. But while he's cleaning up his UFOs, we can probably fit in another donation.
Sure thing. Let me see what we have. It looks like we have $10 from Cyro Valatham, who says, purple for good luck. And then we also have $48 from Lagraskull, who says, the world will be pink. and that is towards pink in our upcoming bid war. Make sure you get those in. That run is coming up super, super soon. And I do also want to let everybody know that our record for day 1 last year was 3,600. And I think it would be pretty cool if we could beat that. We love PBs here at a speedrun event. Let's break that 3,600 amount.
I would love to see that record broken. Thank you, everybody, for those donations. You also probably saw Draconayr just bonk Spyro's head on this bunch of stairs a bunch of times. I promise that was fully intentional. There's actually something you can do where rather than charging up those stairs, you can glide into them, which still will bonk off of them, but if you time it just right, you can chain it, and it is so much faster to go up the stairs than it is to just jump normally. And it's very, very amusing to see it happen up the stairs. You'll actually see it happen again here in a little bit.
Yeah, and then once again, right before we fight the final boss, Ripto.
Yep.
Yeah, so we went ahead and did a little bit of a journey there to go find a freestanding orb, and then we teleported back to this level for just getting closer, and we're going to get another freestanding orb, and then there will be one last level to go to, and that's that one right there, Robotica Farms.
There we go. Some lovely little calculated bonky. Ooh.
Missed that. That's okay.
We'll just get to do. We'll get to do more.
Yeah,
we'll
I just
get to
wanted
concuss Spyro a little more.
Yeah, I just wanted everyone to see him bonk. It's fine.
Go. And you might notice that there was a bunch of really nice gems up there, and normally we're going way out of our way for 10 gems, but we actually do not have to pay money bags anymore for the rest of the run, so gems do not matter anymore.
All right, and then this level has my least favorite enemy in the game. Those guys, the little robot hornets. They are a pain in the butt. But we will hopefully take them out efficiently.
So once again, we are trying to collect the souls for a power-up. It's the same old song and dance as some of the previous levels, but again, these enemies are a little bit trickier. I guess because, you know, it's one of the last levels, they sort of up the difficulty just a little bit. But overall, this level is mostly just cleaning up these souls and doing a couple more little mini-games. All right, so hopefully you'll get these guys on the first cycle here.
No, only one of them. I messed up I wasn't quite close enough, but we'll get them here in the. Oh, that one will escape.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Disaster! It's actually very.
He's still stuck over here. There you are.
Okay, that's good.
Dude.
It's very difficult to get all 4 of those on the first cycle.
Yeah.
It is possible, but it is quite difficult.
I haven't been able to do it myself. I typically get them on the second, unless I panic.
Yeah, one issue with this is once you get to the point in the run where you don't need more gems, it is so easy to just autopilot and get them on your way anyway because shinies. But Sparks can rather get a couple little ones as a treat.
And I wanted to grab that sheep there to get gold because we're going to get this orb, and we're going to get one more, and then we're going to go fight Ripto, and that'll be the end.
We are so close to the end, y'all. Let us get to that 3,600. We are so close in the bid war right now, too. So if you have an inkling in one direction or another, we are at $67 for purple and $68.69 for pink. So if you... Thank you. Blue also has $5, so, you know, help them a little bit. Let's get that up to 3,600 and break a record.
All right, and that was the last level, and we're going to bonk up the stairs, and then we're going to go fight Ripto. And that will be a 3-phase fight, which is also quite RNG heavy. Hunter will be helping us. And we want him to play nice with us.
Anyway, good thing Spyro has
I've never seen that before. got a little confused on the staircase for a second.
I wonder why.
Yeah, how could that have happened?
Why is he a little dizzy? All right, so at long last, here is Ripto. So like Draconayr said, this is a 3-stage fight. The first stage is we rely on RNG because basically, I don't remember exactly the story. Yeah. I think we like supercharged all those orbs and they're getting dropped and turned into power-ups.
Get back here.
But man. Ripto can pick them up as well.
Hunter was very mean about that one.
But now those orbs can drop in 3 different colors, green, blue, or red, and each of those correlates to a different power-up. However, the only one that matters is the 3rd one that you pick up. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see there's a little counter there. What we do not want is to pick up a green gem for the 3rd gem. Either of the others are pretty much okay. So there we go. We get the red, which is a super flame, which we can use to damage Ripto. And we want to do at least half of his health there, so nice work. And then we want to get back up to 3. Again, making sure we don't get the green as the final
red, so we're just going to go ahead and grab that.
And the good news is he can just regular flame Ripto to sort of interrupt him from picking up his own. And so that was actually really well done.
Yeah, 2-phase Ripto. You can get him in 1 phase. I have not done that. But 2 phases is kind of where I'm hoping to get that.
Now this one's extremely easy because it's the same thing basically with the orbs. But the difference being that it's okay to get green, and also you can just grab the orbs out of his mouth. There's like no danger of getting damaged. So this one's, the 2nd phase is pretty straightforward. So there you go.
Just like that.
And then Ripto goes, what? How dare you take
Hunter
this very slow-moving treasure out of my mouth?
Yeah, he even he'll stand over the orb, and then it will shift to just go in front of him. What I don't want is a blue orb, which luckily we don't need to grab.
We'll have to do 1 more phase.
Yeah, unfortunately 1 more, but that's okay. I did manage to get a double hit there, but it doesn't particularly matter. Now it doesn't matter what orb I get because it's only 1 hit, so the blue is acceptable. All right, and that's the 2nd phase. There's only 1 phase left, and time will be on the last hit, which will initiate a cutscene. Once again, non-purple Spyro, unfortunately, or non-green Spyro, normal purple Spyro, because now we have the fly power-up. But this one's pretty simple. You just kind of hit him with the fires, and then avoid his green energy blasts, or don't really. It's if you just kind of tank it, you can do it enough to.
One thing you want to avoid, though, is, if you drop him, he can decide to fly really far out, and he will fly out behind that big castle. But it's not entirely difficult to stop, though.
And this should be time right there.
Time.
Yeah.
Nice, Ripto.
Yeah, luckily he didn't fly around the castle, because sometimes he'll do that and just, like, hide. But yeah, so that's Spyro 2. Even with, I would say that was a really good run, even with the amount of trouble there was for some of those jumps. Under an hour is still really good. But yeah, thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate it. Shout out to my friends and family watching. If you're there, I really appreciate you. I love you guys so much. Thank you for commentating. Roadkill Revenge, who will be playing Spyro 3 and destroying Moneybags. Destroy him.
Thanks to donations from all you viewers.
Yeah, thank you for donations, and thank you, Fastest First, for allowing me to come and play for you guys. I really appreciate it. It was super fun.
All right, can we get some more noise in here for that amazing run? Now, you may have noticed during that ending bit, we got a few more donations in. Not only did we hit 3,600, we hit 3,700. All right, well, I would love to let you all know some of those donations. We have $25 from Pico, who says, Lost and Found needs your support. That is going towards the Spyro Color Bid War, and I will tell you a little bit more about that charity in just a moment. We also have $42 from Quas, and they say, bleh. Lots of love to Adalore from Friends Under the Branch. That is towards the Watch the Cutscenes incentive, which is coming up tomorrow, which, yes, by the way, we are doing this again tomorrow, so I hope to see you then as well. We have $10 from Sonic Mega, who says, a new day 1 PB? Well, that just tickles me pink. You'll never guess what color that one's going to. And then finally, we have $100 from Nilsson. That that is going towards the Spyro bid war towards green, which means that these colors are getting very, very close. So if you have a favorite color in mind, get those donations in now. If you're just joining, perhaps you were taking a nap, maybe you're a little late, that's okay, I don't judge. I do want to let you all know that Fastest Furs Live at FWA 2024 is raising money for FWA's chosen charity, which is Lost and Found Youth. Their mission is to end homelessness for all LGBTQ+ youth by providing them with the skills and support that they need to live independently. They envision a world where all youth feel safe and supported to live and love authentically. More than 40% of homeless youth identify as LGBTQ+, and this disparity in the homeless youth population continues to grow. But it only takes one donation to make a real difference in another person's life. So if you want to learn more, type !charity in the chat, or you can always visit lnfy.org. If you're in the mood for some swag, we are thrilled to once again partner with Timberwolf Trading to bring not one, not two, not Spyro 3, but 4 new Fastest Furs Live at FWA 2024 Marathon shirts to you. You can use the command !merch in chat to browse our designs from Rotim, Flux, Freckles, and Autumn Wyvern. $5 from each shirt purchase will be donated to the charity I just told you all about, Lost and Found Youth. They'll only be available until the end of the event, which is tomorrow, which means, come on, let's get this going. So don't miss out on your chance to pick one up today. They're actually really cool. I've seen them. I like them a lot. If you're here in person, check them out on the wall. You can also check out the entire Timberwolf Trading store online at timberwolftrading.ca, where you can order your own custom stickers, shirts, laser engravings, and more from this furry-owned business. All right, y'all, we will be back in just a minute. Welcome back, everybody. Are we excited for more Spyro? Good, okay, we learned from earlier. I like the volume, So next up we have Spyro Year of the Dragon Reignited, because we can't just do one Spyro or two Spyro, we have to do all of them, that's the rule. And if you are not aware, we currently have a bid war going on for the color of Spyro, which as it happens is actually pretty darn close. Right now we have purple sitting at $67. We have blue sitting at $5. Okay, blue could use a little work. We have green at $100 exactly, but pink at $103.69. We also had a donation come in for a run that's happening tomorrow. We have $25 for Blackthorn Wolf, who says, was able to sneak out of work early and catch Year of the Dragon. Had to donate to show my support to my favorite purple boy, and of course, a great cause. Thank you so much for that donation, Blackthorn Wolf, and we hope to see you tomorrow as well. A reminder, Fastest Spurs Live at FWA 2024 is raising money for FWA's chosen charity, the Lost and Found Youth Organization. Lost and Found Youth is an Atlanta-based organization dedicated to helping homeless LGBTQ+ youth find stability, safety, and a place to call home. To learn more about their mission and programs, please visit lnfy.org and donate if you're able using the command donate in chat or by visiting fastestspurs.com/donate. I think you should all donate for this cool bird in the front row. Well, if you are new to this stream and you just kind of wandered in, or if you're here live and you're going, what are all these people doing here? I do want to let you know that Team Fastest Spurs is a community of furry speedrunners that is welcoming and open to all. That means even if you're not a furry. And you don't even have to be a furry to participate in our events. Like I said, we currently host 2 charity speedrun marathons per year that happens in the spring and the fall, and provide other opportunities throughout the year for our community members to get involved and showcase their speedruns. Whether you're an active speedrunner or just someone who's curious about the hobby or about charity events, you can also join us on Discord by using the command !Discord in chat. I know I would love to see you there. Something else I would love to tell you about is that we are once again giving away prizes as part of Fastest Spurs Live at FWA 2024, and you do not want to miss out on this. You can use the command !Prizes to check them out, get details on how to enter to win. Prizes for this event include something like, oh, I don't know, an autographed Nintendo Switch OLED? Anybody? And going towards that bid war, we have $4.03 coming in from Quas, who says, Error 403, non-pink colors forbidden. those of you in Twitch chat, Team Fastest First wants you to know that all revenue from Twitch subscriptions and cheered bits received during this weekend's event will support our events now and into the future, including our upcoming Fastest First Fall Fest 2024 event, which is online. Please consider subscribing now to get our Fastest First emotes featuring the always adorable PB the Cheetah. And don't forget to check and see if you have your free Twitch Prime Gaming sub available too. We would also like to extend a super special shout out to the Fastest First leadership team members Sarth and Rotim for their hard work on the creation of Cheeto, which is our donation tracker and marathon management system. This marathon simply would not be possible without their efforts. I know I couldn't do my job without them, so if I could hear some noise for them, please. Music kind of slaps, huh? All right, and with that, I am gonna pass it over to our next speed run. That is going to be Spyro, Year of the Dragon Reignited with Roadkill Revenge. Please take it away.
All right, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for the final run of the first day of Fastest First. Let's go. We are so close to wrapping in a day of really amazing runs and really amazing funds that we've raised today, so thank you all. While we're here though, can I go ahead and get the final result of the color bid war?
It looks like we are sitting at a winner with green with $169.
Green again, also nice. Okay, give me 1 second to just enter that code. Okay, I got it the first try. That wasn't a trick, but still, probably I was apt to mess it up. Okay, so thank you all so much for donating to that incentive. We're going to be playing with Green Spyro 2 games in a row. Surely nothing's going to go wrong as a result of that. Also, thank you for donating towards the incentive that we're going to see at the end of the run. But just so I can go ahead and get started, time is going to start when I press an input here, and I'm going to be going ahead and starting in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so right off the bat here, this run jumps right in with quite a few different tricks. I am going to be immediately gathering some gems, collecting an egg, and doing some wall glides and perfect hovers and things like that, which all those things are tricks that I am going to be explaining. If you saw the Draconayr's previous run, they're basically similar tricks, but with a few different nuances to them. First thing, though, I'm just going to be skipping some cutscenes at the very beginning of the run. There are 3 cutscenes that we have to skip in order to get started. But basically, there's an evil sorceress that stole a bunch of dragon eggs, and so we're going to have to get them back and also defeat the sorceress. And of course, I bonk right at the start, but bonks are good luck, right? Especially on marathon. So right there, we get our first egg, and I am going to be going up here and trying to get over this rock. Hello. Any minute now. One thing I want to note, too, is that I really appreciate being here because I actually broke my elbow a few weeks ago, and today I broke my glasses, and I lost my controller. So we are, we are making it through this run today. So if I could get some hype just for my own ego, thank you. So doing some of these wall glides might take me a few more tries than normal just because practicing has been a little bit difficult because of my arm. And I'm going to continue to use that as an excuse over and over again. So right here, there's some invisible terrain that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be jumping on Sheila's sign here. We'll be seeing Sheila later. Well, don't worry. We will be freeing her. But first, I'm going to be using this sign to get up this wall. And I'm going to be giving this a couple tries. I'm not going to be spending too much time here. This is one of those tricks that has been difficult for me to practice. But you can actually do what's called a wall glide up this and hover on some invisible pixels and use that to get to an egg a little bit faster. If I don't get it in the next 2 tries, I'm going to go ahead and move on and just do it as intended. All right, one more. Okay, all right, I'm giving up. We're doing it as intended, sorry. But first, we're going to be heading into our first level, which is Sunny Villa. So this level, we are going to be doing another wall glide. Like I said, the very beginning of this run has a little bit of a gauntlet of a couple tricks that can be a little bit devastating and a time loss to mess up. So I'm just going to set this up a little bit carefully. I'm going to be going over here and then hovering, gliding into this wall and going up it. Come on. Oh, no! Okay, we're going to be just resetting this. I accidentally did a wrong thing there. I was trying to hover, but no big deal. We can just try it again. All right, one more time. Once more with feeling. I'm beginning to think green Spyro is cursed. Let's go. Come on. The bonks here are okay, as long as I don't fall. We're just going to do this as slowly as possible. Okay, but we got up here, so that was mile skip. So that essentially meant that we were able to get to that egg miles without having to go the intended way, which is like a really long glide. With the number of tries it took me, I probably could have just done it as intended, but hey, you got to see the cool skip, so let's go. So now I'm just going to be going through the level mostly as intended, collecting some eggs and getting to the end of the level if there are any new donations to read.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first I want to shout out Oasis, who donated $69.
Nice.
And that is how we got green as our color. They say, I just want this victory by green to be nice.
So it worked out. It worked out. Okay, so now that we got to the end of the level, we get another egg here, and then we just leave. So just like some of the other Spyro games, we have to get to the end of the level in order to continue to the boss. In Spyro 2, we had to get talismans, and this one we just need the help of the guys at the end of the level. You might notice that they leave through the portal because they are going to be getting some stuff for us. But first, I'm going to be gliding out of this portal rather than landing on that platform, because if you land on that platform, it will start a dialogue with Bianca, and we love Bianca, but we don't want to talk to her because we want to go fast. So I'm going to be getting up this rock again and going around that dialogue, and then just heading up here, grabbing a bunch of gems and talking to our boy Hunter, who you also might remember from the previous game, and then heading into Cloud Spires. So right here at the beginning of Cloud Spires, I'm going to be doing another little wall glide here. And what wall glides are is essentially what it sounds like. I'm going to be doing a little glide, and I am going to be doing it against a wall in such a way that lets me skip some stuff. Let me give it another go. That looked like it made it, didn't it? But no. Alas. Okay, there we go. We got up. All right, so now, and we are immediately going to be jumping into another skip. I'm going to be landing on this piece of terrain and then doing some fancy wall glides. I might have to retry. Yeah, we're going to retry. That's totally okay. That one's a little bit more difficult, especially with an unfamiliar controller. But we got this. We're going to be heading, and now you're going to be seeing this skip again. Wall glides is a tech that is going to be happening over and over again during this run. It involves essentially tapping into a wall, which lets you gain or preserve your height. Okay, there we go. I got that one again. And once more with feeling, we are going to be landing here, lining it right up, making sure we set it up well this time. Tap, tap, tap. And then I hovered too early. Let's give it one more try. This one's a little bit weird because if you tap in the wrong place on the wall, you can actually do what's called an auto hover or a flutter, I think is Draconayr called it. And we actually do not want that to happen there, because if we do that there, that will actually send us careening straight into the abyss. So you have to tap into the wall, but not too much, because if you do it too much, you will immediately fall. But just like in the previous game, this is avoiding paying the bear. See, there's that auto hover I wanted to avoid. So by doing this, we're skipping, I believe in this level, he's mostly just gatekeeping bridges and stuff from us. 2, 3. Okay, we'll give it one more try. We're going to keep going on this. This is one of the skips that's not super avoidable, but, you know, I'm still shaking it out. We're good to go. Thanks for the cursed green Spyro donors. I love to see it. Okay. Oh my god, I got up there and then fell off. Love that for me. Come on. Okay. All right. I'm going to be focusing here. If you want to read some more donations, well, I get this definitely for sure this time.
Absolutely. We have $5.45 from Comet Traveler. That goes towards the game bid war for tomorrow. They are donating towards DuckTales, and they say, donating for the bird in the front row. And apparently a few more birds. Woohoo! I wonder how many viewers realized that you're playing Spyro 3 in the actual Year of the Dragon before I mentioned it. We also have $20 from Moonblaze Wolf towards the Watch the Cutscenes incentive. They say, elbow, glasses, controller. Next you're gonna tell me you broke Spyro 3. Good luck, Roadkill Revenge.
Thank you so much for that. So since I came over here, I'm actually just going to check one thing really quick in the settings that I neglected to check as I was setting up. Because one cool thing about the PC is that you can actually set different frame rates. And that actually affects the way that some of these jumps actually work. So let me just check that. Yeah, so we're going to want to actually cap our frame rate down to 30 here. So that is going to make those easier. So apologies about that. But that means that we're going to definitely get it this time. It is possible to do it on different frame rates, but this actually allows some of these things to be much, much easier. There we go. See, that was much, much easier. And now I can head over here and give this another try. We're going to try and get some more height here off this. There we go. So that's why my muscle memory wasn't working. We got it. Okay. So now we're going to be collecting a lot of these big gems. One thing about Spyro is that over the course of the games, the gem values sort of scale. So like, where before you're mostly seeing like smaller gems and the bigger gems are a little bit more rare, we're seeing a lot more of the larger gems earlier in the run here. But so doing that, I was able to get a Claire egg a little bit earlier. Oh, that's another thing too. Every single one of the 100 eggs we're going to be collecting has a different name. So if I mention just some random person's name and you're like, what are you talking about? I'm probably talking about one of the eggs. So I was able to get the end of level egg here, but we're going to clean up a couple other eggs in the level, including this belfry egg by destroying all these spirits. They're on a set cycle though. It's pretty straightforward. Skipping some cutscenes. And now, once again, we have egg thieves. And now they have actual eggs again. But just like that, we can get him. He's on a very set path if you know where he's at. So now we're going to be going backwards through this level just a little bit. This is actually where you would normally be paying money back. So we're not even going to go talk to him, don't you worry. I'm going to be defeating some of these enemies so they don't get in our way. Oops. Whoopsie doodle. Killing this enemy, actually, I went around that egg on purpose because for whatever reason, Stephanie, she gets a little bit tired. She doesn't like to hatch out of her egg sometimes. So if you go around the backside of the egg, it actually ensures that she will hatch when you go into the hitbox for that. Okay, so now we're finally through the Cloud Spires. So now we're back to Sunrise Spring, and immediately a cutscene is going to play. We're just going to skip it. And unfortunately, I actually beat Hunter over there earlier, so I'm going to have to talk to him again. That's the thing that can happen here. If you're too fast going into Cloud Spires, he will just, like, go back. So that's, again, a little unfortunate. But this is, again, our flying tutorial like we saw in the other game as well. I already know how to do that. We're going to be getting those gems right past him. And actually, I'm going to be going back because I just remembered that I'm going to be getting the Amy egg as intended rather than the skip. So I'm going to be going back up here, over to Hunter again, and then going through to this portal. Unlike in the previous game, the power-ups do not need anything to be activated. They're just activated by default. And so I'm just going to be flying over here to Amy, and then just going the long way over to Molten Core. The reason I did that right now rather than trying to clean it up later is because you actually need a set number of eggs in order to activate these different portals. So I need 10. So I actually needed to go back for that because I have exactly 10 eggs right now. And then I'm going to be grabbing this one for later. and heading into Molten Crater. Molten Crater is a pretty fast level, but we are going to be seeing it twice. So right here from the beginning, I'm just going to be running straight through it and dodging enemies and collecting some more eggs. So now would be another good time for donations.
Well, I'm still waiting on more to come in, but if I can direct your attention towards that number in the bottom right corner if you happen to be looking, we are actually really, really close to hitting $4,000. Now, we may not have any more incentives for this game, but we have a whole day full of games tomorrow. We start off with the silly block. There are incentives for so many games tomorrow, so please check out that schedule. You can also check out our charity. That is lnfy.org if you want to learn some more about them. I would love to see this hit 4,000. What about you?
I would. Let's do it. Thank you so much for that. So just like that, Molten Crater is done. There's some really interesting movement through that level, and also some, we're starting to deal with something that is really common in this game, which is that every time you pick up an egg, the camera really wants you to like look at that egg animation as it's opening up, but we don't want to look at that animation. We want to skip it and we want to move on. But as the camera is moving back to where Spyro is going, it sort of will gradually give you your controls back. So while the camera's facing one direction, your controls are moving slightly differently. And so each egg has its own little individual quirks with how you have to move coming out of it, because the camera is doing weird things. So now we're into to this level, which is another kind of underwater level. I am going to be doing the only out-of-bounds skip in the run here in a moment. But first, we're going to be going down here and collecting this egg that's just in the water, which is Jason. Going to be doing a little movement there to get around Zoe so that we don't balk into her. Doing a wall glide to jump up here. And now I'm going to take some purposeful damage and then just jump through the wall. And this is allowing us to get into a side character area. So this game has several different playable side characters, including Sheila that we saw earlier. But you might have noticed that we actually did not free her from her cage yet. However, for whatever reason, this minigame has that portal stored under the world. So if we get out of bounds, we can just fly straight to that portal and load into her minigame anyway, even though she hasn't been freed. So for this level, we are essentially just destroying these turrets. They're basically on a set cycle. There's a few weird things, though. For one, over here on this corner, you can actually cut this corner faster if I hit this guy a certain way and I missed it. You can actually have him break that box. It's a very, very small time save. Another thing is, for whatever reason, that blue gem right there is what's called a dead gem. For whatever reason, Sparks is not programmed to pick it up, ever. So he just won't. But it's fine. We'll catch it up somewhere else. Okay, so when we exit area, we're actually going to be exiting just as if we went through the normal portal. Missed that jump, so we're just going to go around. And now we're heading into Bluto, which is another one of these sort of side mini-games. This one's like a mini-boss, and there are essentially two different forms of RNG that can happen here. One of them is just faster than the other, so we'll see which one we get. And we got the good one. Okay, good. So what we want is for him to go straight towards us, and then we go and collect these lovely missiles. And then he goes to get some missiles, and then we should have enough just to kill him before he does anything other than collect missiles. Sometimes he does weird things, but like that, but we still killed him fast enough. So that was just about a perfect Bluto. Okay, so I'm going to be exiting the area and heading to a tunnel. And this is just a tunnel we just have to go through, and we just have to kill all the Rhinox on the way in there. I've mentioned that I'm playing this on PC because there are differences between PC and console. One of the weird things is that for whatever reason, the in-game time, so whenever you pause the game and look at the timer, for whatever reason, it doesn't count these tunnels. So on a console run, these tunnels are like literally free for speedrunners. But we still do this one on PC just because it's still pretty fast. So I'm going to be, almost missed that one, but we got it. Exiting the level, and then that is Seashell Shore. Once we free this guy. Oh, yeah. We have to actually finish the level to finish the level. Silly me. Okay, so just like Spyro 2, we have one speedway we have to do, and it is my bane. I'm going to mess it up. But let's get some hype. I would really like some encouragement, some emotional support for dealing with this speedway. because there's some mini games in here that are difficult. But let me not get ahead of myself, because I'm going to be flying out of this portal, doing a little water hopping here, and checking on my gems, and going straight into the portal here. We're actually head on gems, which is good. And right here at the beginning, we are going to be just doing a little dive here. The hitboxes on these rings is actually like really huge. So I do not have to go through them at all. I just have to get like kind of close. But now we have the daisies. One sort of funny thing about this speedway, in my opinion, is that so Sparks like will tell you like, this is the intended way to go through, but it's not the fastest. But the speedrunners do that route anyway because it's just about the fastest, and it is way more consistent than the faster route. So it's just funny that Sparks is just like, this isn't the fastest, but we do it anyway. So this last one is the butterflies. This one's a little bit weird. I'm going to be trying to flame them to get them in one cycle, but yeah. It can be a little bit difficult because of the way that the angle works. Because I'm trying to essentially angle up to hit them and then angle down to hit them, but without moving so far that I move away from them. It's a little bit difficult to get on one cycle, but it's not too bad if you miss it, so not too beat up about that. But now, once again, we get to go talk to our friend Hunter, and he is going to be shooting UFOs for some reason, so we have to help him do that. So this one's definitely a pain if I mess it up, so let me just focus for just a moment. I'm going to be tilting up in just a certain way and trying to hit these ones off here. The controls and the way that he aims are very particular, and so far, so not great, but let's see if I can recover. Okay, I got hit. So that's fine, we can just give it another try. Maybe we can get the good cycle this time. All right. Oh, I missed that one too. Oh, one more left. Okay. Definitely not the cleanest UFOs, but we got through it, and honestly, that just makes me happy. For some reason, that always stresses me out so much.
Something, something arm, something, something glasses.
Yeah, something, something arm, something, something, rode my glasses. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we are going to be heading, instead of leaving the level and just walking there, we are going to be fast traveling back to Cloud Spires and immediately leaving, and that's just because this portal is really close to Sheila's level. We are finally going to free the kangaroo and doing her level. Because once again, no levels are optional for this. We have to complete them all. At least all of the sort of main levels, and at least, you know, before the final hub world. Oops, in order to activate the transport into the boss. So I'm going to be paying him his money, boo, and moving into the level. All right, so Sheila's out for this level. We are essentially helping some billy goats get to their homes and also bully each other. They're little pranksters. We love them. This one has a little bit of RNG just with enemy placement. That one was not ideal, but it was fine. Sometimes they can get stuck on stuff. But while we wait on one of the goats to get to his house, I'm going to be going up there and just getting those gems because there's a really valuable 25 gem up there, and we have plenty of time to go get it while we wait on him. Then I'm going to be getting this fodder because we're going to be needing it before long. Killing some enemies. Because they actually will not proceed forward until you kill certain specific enemies. The Rhinox in this level in particular. Alright, he still acts like there's something in his way, but that's just what he does. And then we go here. So this is the example. Whenever you see me do sort of weird, not direct movement outside of right after I get an egg, that is just because it's when the game releases control to me after, like I said, after that egg camera gets locked. Okay, so for this, you're normally supposed to do a little pound, like you're supposed to go all the way to the top of the mushroom, but you can actually get it sort of from the side, which is nice because it saves time. And I am actually destroying the homes before I kill the Rhinox there at the end, because if not, it will still spawn one, and you'll have to kill him anyway, so it's just a little bit more efficient typically. So now I talk to this last goat, and now we're done. All right, and so now what's going to happen is I'm going to leave the level, and then Sheila is going to take me to the balloon, and we're going to go to the first boss, which is Buzz. So that is Sunrise Spring, part 1. And yeah, one weird thing about this is for whatever reason, whenever she teleports you, it will just like turn me sideways. You'll see me like snap. There we go. I don't know why it does that, but you just have to be aware of it, because if you just hold forward like you're trying to charge straight towards the balloon, you're going to hit that wall instead. So I always wait for that snap to happen and then start moving. Okay, so we're into Buzz's dungeon. Buzz is a boss that has 3 cycles. You know, it's a boss. You know, you've heard it before. But we can do a little bit of damage abuse to make it a little bit faster. But we're going to see how it goes. I might play it a little bit cautiously just because, but we're going to see. I'm at full sparks, though, so let's give it a go. We're first just going to go ahead and bonk him straight into the lava. Just easy peasy. He's just going to let us do that. I'm going to stand on the edge of the arena here, let him come around, and then fly out of the arena. And what that will do is that will make him immediately end his like attack cycle, rather than go around like 3 or 4 times. Also, just like that, that was really lucky. So sometimes Sheila will get in the way and also make him end faster. So right there, that was me taking intentional damage just to be able to hit him a little faster. So there we go. We got Sheila in the way there again, which was I was able to utilize. So I'm going to take some more intentional damage and just bonk him right into the lava. Here we go. And this time he is going to blow fire at us, but we do not have to wait on him to do that. But I am going to run backwards here because even though we interrupted him, it will still do the hitbox for the fire. So I wanted to run backwards just to make sure that that hitbox didn't hit me. There we go. And that's Buzz. That was a pretty good Buzz. I'm really happy about that. All right, so now the run continues. We're heading into the next hub world, which is Midday Gardens. And this one, right at the beginning, I'm going to be doing just what looks like hovering over something invisible. And that is a hitbox that starts a conversation with Bianca. You're going to see me come back and dodge that hitbox several times because we're going to be fast traveling back here a couple times. And what we really don't want to do is do extra dialogue because extra dialogue is slow. If I do hit it, it's not the end of the world, but, you know, we're going to go fast. So I'm going to do this, hover just to make sure, and then dive in the water. So we got around the hitbox, no problem. Got Dave down here in the water, and now we are going to be heading to Enchanted Towers. Okay, so we're at Green Sparks, which normally is a little worrisome, but actually, as you're about to see, is not a problem at all. So right here at the beginning, I'm going to be jumping over an NPC that wants to talk to me. His name is Pedro, which I know because I talk to him on accident all the time. And doing some platforming here around the terrain, mostly just avoiding all of these enemies. I am going to be getting this guy, though, because he's in the way. Jumping over here to Gladys, and then immediately quitting out. And the reason that I do that is because this is actually faster than taking like a really long glide over here if I can get this trick. So right here, and also one benefit is that it refills our sparks. So like I said, it wasn't a problem that we were low health. So I'm going to be jumping up here and taking what is called a charge jump. And a perfect hover. That was really perfect first try. Okay, so what I did there, so you can jump while you're charging, which is something that you've probably noticed. But you can also do what is sort of confusingly named a charge jump, which is where you stop charging the moment you start jumping at the end of a ledge. And what that does is it lets you conserve the momentum from your charge, but get the full height from a jump rather than just the partial height from a jump that you normally get. Oops, I saved that. That you normally get when you do a jump while charging. And that allowed me to totally sequence break the level. Anyway, does anyone like skateboarding? Because we're going to do some sick moves here just in a second. But I'm just going to be doing Hunter's tutorial, so now would be another great time for some donations or announcements.
Sure, well, no donations to read at the moment, but I do want to let everyone know about some of our incentives and bid wars that we have coming up for tomorrow. First up, we have Deer Simulator. That's deer with 3 E's, by the way, which is your average, everyday deer game. If we want to watch the cutscenes, we're going to need to donate up to $420. We're currently sitting at 87, so I would love to see those come in. Those cutscenes are pretty sweet, so get those in. We also have a game bid war for the mystery game face-off. So I don't know what the game's going to be, but if you would like to help choose, get those donations in.
Awesome, thank you so much for that. So all that really happened there in the meantime was that I just casually did a 900 because I'm a cool little dragon and I can do that. And now I'm going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I give up. So what happened there was basically Hunter is trying to get us to like compete for points with him, but for whatever reason, if you do like one really big move and then give up, he just gives it to you anyway. So we can just abuse that to get the egg. So once again, I'm going to be jumping over that Bianca trigger and heading over here into the icy cavern, grabbing another egg, who is named Mingus, which is probably my personal favorite dragon name in this game. There's a lot of really good ones, and heading into Icy Peak. This is actually a really tricky level. There's a lot of little tricks in this level. Like right here at the beginning, I'm going to be jumping straight over here towards this TNT, touching it on purpose, which will bump it slightly far enough to explode that wall, which normally you're supposed to use a cannon in order to blow it up. I'm going to be going over here for some good gems, and then doing some purposeful bonking to climb up those steps faster, getting these guys out of the way. And now we're going to do a few little interesting things. But first I'm going to be going around and just setting it up. So we're going to be lighting that, heading around here, and then I am going to be yeeting this turret around really fast, which you can do that by hitting the analog stick and the D-pad at the same time. It actually doubles the movement speed of specifically the turrets, which is nice. So now I'm going to collect on those gems that I lit that fuse for, and then heading back over here and doing Maynard skip. So I'm going to be jumping on the edge of this turret and sort of setting up a little bit carefully. Hello, hello. And then, right, so that saves a little bit of time. Normally the way I'm going right now is how we would have got up to Maynard, but by doing it backwards, that saves quite a bit of time. But that's a really, really tight, perfect hover, so I am so excited to have gotten that first try, even if I accidentally took damage from a rat. It's whatever. It's worth it for first try Maynard skip. Okay, so now we're going to be heading to collect some more egg thieves. These ones are really, really interesting. So normally this one is like a sequence. You're supposed to get the yellow egg thief and then the red egg thief, which you can see the red egg thief right there. But what they didn't anticipate is me getting the red egg thief first by just getting him off this pillar, and he doesn't even run away. Similarly, for whatever reason, the yellow egg thief will not run backwards on this track. So I can just, hopefully, get it like that. So just like that, we got a couple more eggs, and I can head back to Midday Gardens. That was icy. That was actually a really, really clean Icy Peak. Okay, so now we are going to be seeing our next companion character. Oh no, I talked to Bianca. Okay, it's fine. Well, you finally get to see Bianca. I know a lot of you probably remember Bianca from your childhoods. So we get to see her at least. So now I'm going to clean up another one of these egg thieves, hopefully on the first cycle. There we go. And then heading to free Lieutenant Bird. Now this is probably the hardest to control and like strangest of the companion levels, because Lieutenant Bird, or Sergeant Bird, oh my gosh, I gotta remember his rank. How could I? Sergeant Bird's levels basically involve flying and shooting these rockets. But these rockets have an absolute mind of their own. They are very difficult to aim. They will like arbitrarily lock on to stuff in the background. Like you can see, they're just sort of shooting off. I'm trying to hit specific enemies, but they just sort of do whatever. But I'm gonna be very, very quickly grabbing this and dropping it on this button and trying to get some extra gems here. We'll see if I can do it fast enough. Yeah, we got an extra 10 and 5 there, which is good. I got that fast enough. And what that does is she's basically telling me to go drop these weights on these buttons, but I already did one of them, and so I can just do the other one. Because this is one of those escort quest missions that the last two games like so much. So we have to kill certain enemies in order for her to get through the level. Okay, so just that one flying there, and we also just need this one flying here, but I'm going to be going ahead and getting the ones on the bottom because they have some very good gems. There we go. We got at least one of them, which I'm ahead on gems, so it's pretty Gucci. Okay, so now we're going to be leaving and heading to Spooky Swamp, which is a level I love because it is full of a bunch of fireflies that only talk in haikus. But unfortunately, we're not going to see any of their beautiful poetry. Because we got places to be.
If you have a favorite haiku, donate it.
Yes, please donate in haiku form. I would be so happy so that I could finally hear the haiku I've been dying to hear in this level. So right here at the beginning, I am actually going to be quitting and reloading immediately. And that's because for some reason, there's a black screen that kind of stays on the screen and doesn't let you move during it at the beginning of that level. And by doing that, it actually saves time over just waiting on it to happen. Okay, so I'm going to be going through this level, doing some more charge jumping, like right here. I hovered a little bit too late there, so that's fine. We could just do that intended. That jump just saves like a couple seconds of platforming, no big deal. Hello? Okay. And now I am going to be going ahead and getting some of these gems just because I feel like it. Grabbing Michael. Taking advantage of, whoa, our angle. So that's sort of what I was talking about our angle coming out of the eggs, causing us to take some really weird directions when we're not paying attention. Okay, well, we killed this one enemy, and Shiny gets freed, and we grab Thelonious, which is he's the one we have to free in order to complete the level, but there's one more egg we're going to get over here, which is very amusingly named Frank. I just really love that Frank and Thelonious are right next to each other. I don't know if it's a reference to something. I don't know, but I find it delightful. Okay, so now we are going to be utilizing a Super Flame power-up. So just like the previous game, the Super Flame essentially lasts for a short period of time and allows us to have long-range flames that can destroy basically anything. So I'm going to be getting up these stairs, going through the back of this so that Zoe doesn't talk to me. And then I'm going to be shooting that one, this one, but I am not going to be shooting that one, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'm going to be getting some gems on the way, shooting this vase, and then while I'm up on this platform, I am now going to shoot this one that I skipped. It's a little difficult to aim, and then I'm going to be triggering this egg. And what that does is that actually effectively allows us to get 2 eggs at once, and it very conveniently teleports us right next to the next level we're going to. That's a really fun, easy skip that they could definitely try at home. If you're into that sort of thing. Okay, so now I'm in Bamboo Terrace, and right at the bat, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a tricky wall glide. I'm going to be going right off here, gliding all the way up this, hovering, zooming in on Spyro. Let me try it again. This one's not too bad to catch yourself if you mess it up, but you do have to get the angle pretty precise here. There we go. I got it without falling, and so that's probably one of the trickier wall glides in this run. And what that does is that essentially allows us to get straight to the end of the level, which is much faster than going the intended way. Because in the intended way, you're supposed to be freeing these pandas, and then they have these cutscenes where they open doors for you. But now we don't matter. But it doesn't matter because we did that one, they open all the doors. So once again, we're going to take out one of these egg thieves by doing something unintended. We're going to be going around and making him fly into us, basically. I have a bad history with missing that one, so I'm very glad that I didn't. And now we're going to be cleaning up just a couple more eggs and then heading in to the next boss. So there's time for 1 or 2 donations if there are any.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we have $5 from Bad Haiku Maker, who says, "This is a haiku, but I can't count well, so I ran out of We also have $20. It's an anonymous donation who says, "Broken wing, arm or not, you're doing great. So happy to be watching Fastest Furs at FWA. And if I may call out, we are less than $100 away from $4,000.
Let's go. I believe we can get there by the end of this run. Let's do it. And thank you for that beautiful and flawed but beautiful haiku. I very appreciated it. Okay, so now we're heading into Spike's Arena. So this is our second boss. This is one that is basically just RNG dependent, but having bad RNG isn't too big of a deal. I mean, I say that, I've had some bad spikes. And hopefully this is the only time we'll see him. Maybe later that sentence will make sense. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But so now I'm basically waiting on this first cycle. We're just waiting on where these rocks spawn. That wasn't too bad. They were pretty close together. Sometimes these rocks will spawn directly on top of Spike, or they'll spawn completely far away from each other. So I'll take that. And so now for these cycles, we're essentially just waiting on Sergeant Bird to drop these rocks, which give us one-time use power-ups. As you can see, that one gave us a one-time use powerful flame. And we'll be dropping one more of those for us, hopefully. Thank you. So that's why I'm essentially following him around. That way I can pick up these rocks as fast as possible. And of course, he's going to drop it like literally touching the boss. Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant Bird, for handing it to the boss. Because if the boss picks him up, he can get power-ups too. But luckily, I was able to get it fast enough without taking damage. Okay, so there we go. So that wasn't too bad. There's a spike. Now, there's one trick I'm going to be trying here. Okay, we'll see if I get it. There's a trick here called Early Whirly, which I always love to talk about just because it's called Early Whirly. And I think I got... Oh, is that by Spyro? Am I the only one that saw that? Anyway, here's hoping he's still with me when we get to Evening Lake. I legitimately don't know what just happened. Anyway, Early Whirly is a trick. I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, Spyro may have disappeared, but we just hit $4,000.
Well, let's go. Okay, he came back. Thank goodness.
And he's back to celebrate with us.
He is. Let's go. Okay, so now I'm in Evening Lake, which is the third hub world, and this is sort of what's considered to be the gauntlet of this run. There's a series of pretty difficult things going on here in this hub world. But right now we have Frozen Altars, which is a really nice level-ish, where we have an Ice Breath, so that's a little bit different. I am going to be letting this guy squoosh me. Freezing both of these enemies, and then jumping over this wall that you're normally supposed to be melting with like a solar beam. We're not going to be using the solar beam. I'm going to be hopefully making this first try. There we go. Okay. That is just a skip that lets us get to this egg much faster than normal. And now we are going to be jumping to the end of level. Ooh. Okay. Yes, end of level. By using a wall glide here, so I'm just going to take a moment to set this up because it's very unfortunate to miss. There we go. Okay, so normally you're supposed to get this egg from the other direction, but by using that wall glide there, we can go straight to it. It's not one of the trickier wall glides, but it's one that for some reason I have a tendency to just totally mess up. So that was actually a very, very clean Frozen Altars, for me anyway. For whatever reason, this level is like super cursed for me. Okay, so now we are going to be doing a little bit of underwater movement, a little bit more gems, and getting another of my favorite eggs in the game. Over here is an not invisible wall, a breakable wall, and right through here we have some very, very good gems, a bunch of 10s, as well as Stoopy. Stoopy's my little bud. My first ever time running this game, I forgot Stoopy, and so now I'm just always really nice to him because, you know, because I have to be. Okay, so now we're in Fireworks Factory. This one is one of the levels where we're basically just going through it almost as intended and just taking one little skip at the end. But even as intended, this level has a lot of stuff going on just because there's like ninjas doing stuff everywhere, but we can really just ignore them for the most part. But now for the fan favorite egg of the game, it's Noodles.
Let's go, Noodles!
Yay, Noodles! All right, we got Noodles, and I didn't take any damage on the way out, which makes me happy. So we're going to continue to be ignoring these enemies. And unfortunately, we have to take this as intended and watch Greta go over here. You might remember Hansel and Gretel from the previous game. For whatever reason, they are also here and also still spies, but also ninjas now. I don't remember that being part of the Grimm fairy tale, but what do I know? And now we are going to be collecting this rocket, which you're normally supposed to use to destroy these enemies, using it to destroy that, and then leaving it behind because we are going to be coming back to it later. After we complete what is called Sam Skip. So this is going to be a damage boost. It's a little bit tricky to get first try, and I got it. Awesome. I'm very, very happy about that. Normally it takes me like 2 or 3. So yeah, basically I just let him hit me with a bomb there on purpose and use that damage boost to jump to the end of that little mini game. Normally you're supposed to run through like this really long gauntlet of like, it's like a first-person level, or it's not first-person level, that's a different level. Anyway, you're supposed to go through this really long gauntlet of enemies, but by doing that, we get to skip all of that. So that's one of those skips that's really worth trying like 5 or 6 times, and because it's still worth it. Okay, so rather than just leaving that level normally, I went ahead and fast-traveled to Evening Lake because I can go straight to collect Jonah here. Do not ask me why this whale has pants and teeth. I do not know. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing once again to go into the next level, which is Charmed Ridge, which is sort of the most notoriously difficult level of this run, just because there's a whole lot of tricks in a row. But it's a cute level, so let's go do it. But while I am getting started through this level and focusing a little bit, it'd be another good time for some donations that got us to our record.
Absolutely. We have a couple of haikus incoming. We have $6.90 from Lagra
Nice.
School. They say, "Dragonfly speaking. If you are not listening, will there be crying?" We also have $10 from Quas, who says, "Gather all the eggs, but don't spend time on talking. Show off speedrun tech." We have $80 from Sonic Mega, who says, and this is actually a haiku, "Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon."
That's amazing.
And then finally we have $69.69 from Shallot Hair, who says, "Here's my silly haiku. I loathe money bags. Money bags sure make me mad." Dang, that's really sad.
Those are all so good.
Thank you so much, everybody, and for getting us over $4,000.
For getting us over $4,000, I died definitely on purpose. Okay, anyway, if you saw that, no you didn't. We're gonna be doing that again. So I basically took a little safety here where I used this super flame to kill some enemies ahead of time to make my life a little bit easier here in a moment. Climbing up this also with a super flame. And then we're going to be trying to kill 2 enemies very quickly before the timer runs out. Namely this one up here and that one over there. Going to be taking a few extra shots just to make sure. And there we go. We got them both. And so what that does is just makes our life a little bit easier for here in a moment, because now these stairs are not moving. One of those wizards was moving those stairs, and another one of the wizards was locking the door that we need to finish the level. So killing them both is a little bit faster. But first we have to go into this little side area and complete my behated minigame, which is the mushrooms. So we just plant these mushrooms, we jump on them. Sounds easy, but you know, I just struggle. Anyway, but so far so good. You essentially have to do a little perfect hover to get on those mushrooms, because you're supposed to use the daisies to jump onto the mushrooms, but with a perfect hover you can get on them without having to worry about the daisies. So it is a little bit easier than doing it casually if you can do the perfect hover. So I'm just going to be grabbing another one of those mushrooms and attempting a skip here. I'm going to try this a couple of times. We're going to be doing a perfect hover at the top of this mushroom jump. Oops. And this will essentially allow us to skip the last little part of this puzzle. If I can do any perfect hovers, that'd be cool. There we go. Okay, second try. I'm very happy with that. That's one of those skips that for whatever reason I struggle with. Okay, I will happily take second try. Okay, so I'm going to be going over here and doing a head bash and attempting to do a head bash again. If you do that just right, come from the right angle, you can actually head bash again mid-air. Which saves just a little bit of time, and it's also just sort of a swaggy thing to do. But unfortunately, I didn't get it. Ow. It's rude. Okay, so now I'm just going to be finishing out this level, and we're going to be paying money bags one more time for our third and final guest character. And for that, we're going to need 1,000 gems, which is coming up soon, which you might think is a bit of a problem, considering we are like 80 gems away. But we have a few backup gems that are going to allow us to do that, no problem. Okay, so now we're going to exit the level and then head to Lost Fleet. So Lost Fleet has a possum in it, so I'm a fan. But also, it's one of those levels that we're going to be doing backwards. So right off the beginning, I'm going to be doing some tricks and picking up some backup gems. Okay, so we're going to be grabbing this 10 gem right here, just because it feels right, and then heading into the level. So we're supposed to be escorting this guy all the way to the end of the level. In order to do that, rather than defeating enemies, we're supposed to be blowing up these certain doors. So even though we're doing level backwards, we are still going to be doing those doors. But first I'm going to be doing that wall glide. Got that first try. Heading up here, oops, using a different turret than you're supposed to use to blow this up. But we can do it anyway, even though we can't see it. Jumping on some terrain. And there we go. So that skip I just did, essentially, normally in this level you use a power-up to go through a bunch of acid to get to that egg, but we can actually just fly there. And then I'm going to be heading to this absolutely hated minigame, which is subs. If I get an okay subs, I am having a really, really good day. So they're on a set cycle, but the controls make it very hard to be precise. So I'm going to be lining this up and hoping I get at least one of these two that are right here. Cool, I got neither of them. So now we're basically just going to be cleaning this up mostly as intended. I do not have any really strong backups for this, but we can always just do it as intended. And you actually can hit them without using the lock-on, which is good because that is much, much faster. But sometimes they're just jerks. This is why this is one of the most hated minigames if you're not good at it like me. Okay, only one more to go. Hello? Okay, he's going to be coming out at right here. Okay, we're free. Get me out of here. Okay, Ethel acquired. And so now we're going to be doing the rest of the level basically as intended, going through getting these. Those. That's one thing about some of these levels. If you go through them a little bit too quickly, the enemies will spawn in right on top of you and jump scare you if you're like me. And that is basically Lost Fleet. We're just going to be collecting a little bit more gems here in the corner and then heading out. Pretty straightforward level. That level also contains another skateboarding level. Unfortunately, we do not see it in the any % run. Okay, so now we're going to go free Bentley, but first we're going to do a little bit more cleanup in Evening Lake, because just like in the other games, the hub worlds have quite a bit of things that we want to bring with us, namely eggs. But first, more cutscenes to skip. But now it's another good time for a couple donations.
Still waiting on a few more. I think everyone ran out of haikus. We're losing juice, but we can get it back. And just so everyone knows, this is only day 1 of the marathon, so there are plenty of incentives to donate for tomorrow, especially if you're kind of falling asleep tonight, but you're going to be back then. Absolutely a good time to donate. And also, I think it might be kind of cool if we could get to 4,200. No particular reason. That's all.
I totally agree. So we got some backup gems there, and we got to our proper gem count. And now I'm going to be attempting to get this gem quickly, but we're going to see if I have the height I need. Almost got it, not quite. That one's a little bit tricky because you have to sort of go around a corner and maintain height. But luckily, I don't have to go all the way back around to try it again. I can just do it the intended way. So there we go. We'll go ahead and grab Hannah and then head over to Bentley's world. Bentley is a lovely little man. Well, he's not little. He's a big guy, but you know, he's my friend. And I'm preemptively being very nice to him because the next boss is really going to depend on how nice to me he wants to be. But first we have to get through his level where we have to, you guessed it, escort somebody. This time it is Bentley's little brother, Bartholomew. As you can see right there, he is his very tiny brother. And this is a cycle-based level, so we're going to see if I get the good cycle here. I'm going to be essentially trying to talk to him the moment he gets to where he is, because if you talk to him too early, he will stop, and it wastes a little bit of time. We're going to hit this gong, and then we're immediately going to talk to him again. What that's going to do is that's going to allow us to move during this cutscene that we're not supposed to move in. So I can use that to gain a little bit of forward momentum to try and get this cycle. And I just barely missed it, but that's fine. We can just get it on the next cycle, no big deal. But that just means that we are essentially walking around, beating up some seals. Very normal thing to do. But, you know, we're helping our little brother get home, so what else is a big brother supposed to do? So I actually don't need any more gems for the rest of the run. Well, I need 300, but even if I didn't try to get any gems, I would get to 300. But I went ahead and got those just because it helps me time whenever Bartholomew gets to where he's going. So from there, now we get to push some boxes. If we get it on the edge like that, we can actually push them a tiny bit faster than if we center ourselves to the box. So I'm going to be trying to do that, but not wasting too much time making sure it's perfect. I'm just going to be trying to sort of scoot the edge of the box there. There we go. It jittered a little bit when it landed there. I hope that doesn't cause a problem. Because now Bartholomew has to jump across. And all I want to do now is just make sure I don't get in front of him because it can totally get him stuck. But he looks like he's good to go. He's going to get to the end. and that is Bentley's outpost. Okay, so now we're going to be fast traveling back to Evening Lake and then heading to Scorch. Now, this is a very, very, very pivotal part of the run, so I'm going to need some good vibes for this. Because there is a trick here where if I get it, it saves 2 minutes or more on the run. If I don't, we lose 2 minutes. So we're going to see. We're going to hope for it. And it's a very, very tricky and notorious skip in this run. So I'm going to try to explain it while I do it. But essentially, Bentley is going to be shooting out different rockets. There's red ones and green ones. And what we want to do is 2 things. Well, sort of 3 things. We want to fight the boss, and we want to do that efficiently by manipulating him, by standing under him. I'll show you that in a moment. But we also want to manipulate Bentley so that at the very end of the boss, we want to guarantee that he throws a green rocket. And that is because if we get the last hit on the boss, like right when Bentley, like almost on the exact same frame that Bentley is shooting out a green rocket, we can actually carry that rocket out of the level with us, and we can use that to skip paying you-know-who. So red rocket at the first is actually what we want because we manipulate him to give us a green rocket by leaving red ones out on the field. Unfortunately, I dropped juggling the boss there for a moment, which is not a huge deal at this point. We do not want to be at green sparks, though, because that means Bentley will have a chance to throw out chickens. It actually is possible to get what is called chicken storage, which is where he throws you a chicken instead of a missile, which is always really funny that when you get that. But let's hope that's not my life today. Unfortunately, we picked up a red rocket after a green rocket, but not a big deal. We want to leave the reds on the field, because that will make him, like I said, more likely to be guaranteed to give us the green that we want later. So right now I just shot that one just to get it out. Okay, there we go. So now we're just trying to time it. So give me your energy while I try this. First, I'm gonna get rid of this crab just for safety. Hello. Okay, we're gonna kill. This is a little bit messy, but what we're trying to do now is to get him to throw an egg, because that helps us get our timing. Okay, and I think I was a little bit too late, but let's see. Yeah, I missed it by like a frame. So the fact that we saw the rocket means that I waited just a moment too late. It is very, very difficult to time that. It is a very difficult trick to get. If you'd like to see me get that trick live, feel free to watch some of the Fastest Furs VODs from last year. Again, I'm going to use my broken wing and blame it on that, even though it was definitely not that. But anyway, so that means we're just going to see a little bit more Spyro before we go home, because there is a very handy backup for that, which is that we can actually go back to a previous boss, Spike, and do it again, because we can actually get storage from the purple rocks that drop in that fight as well. It is actually much, much easier to do. And very, very, oops, I did not mean to do that. It is much, much more consistent than the rocket storage, but there aren't really any uses for it that we know of yet, other than as a backup for if you don't get rocket storage. So I'm going to be getting this egg, and then heading back to Spike's arena. So we do get to see Spike again. So Spike fans out there, this is your moment. Okay, so this is going to go exactly the same as before until the 3rd phase. All that's going to happen there is I am just going to miss, apparently. All that's going to happen in the 3rd... Oh, my gosh. This is an example of a bad Spike. all that's going to be different in the 3rd phase is that I'm going to leave a rock sitting on the ground and then just end the fight with that rock on the ground. It won't despawn, unlike the rockets. Unfortunate. I feel like this always happens to me, that whenever I have to back up and do Spike, it's like, he like gets revenge, which we're gonna do against Moneybags later, thanks to all of your awesome donations. So now would be another good time for a message or two.
Still waiting on some more of those, but just so you all know, when you are making those donations, don't forget to assign it to an incentive or a bid war. This option is going to be visible when you are filling in your donation. It helps make the marathon as best it can be. That's how we are getting revenge on Moneybags, so thank you again for those donations. And if you want to see a list of all the upcoming incentives in Bid Wars for the entire marathon, you can use the command !incentives in chat.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so now I do have a rock in my mouth that I could be using to kill the boss, but I'm going to wait until Sergeant Bird drops another one. That one's in a very bad location, and also the boss got it, so this is probably like the worst spike of all time, so you're welcome for the entertainment value. Okay, so the reason I sort of reset it there is because I actually, just to play it safe, because I do not want to do Spike a third time, I'm going to be making sure that Sergeant Bird drops the rock in a place that is fairly easy to get, because I have a very small time window to pick it up. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so there we go. We just have to leave that rock on the ground, kill Spike like normal, and as you can see, the rock is still there, and I can pick it up. Okay. The one caveat about this is that, so now I have the purple rock forever. I can use it infinitely until I get teleported in any way, which means that rather than fast traveling to Midnight Mountain like I would normally do because it's faster, I'm just going to be walking there because if I teleport using the guidebook, it will revert the status of the storage. Okay, and you'll be seeing why this is useful in a moment, because having this is essentially going to use that teleport, and which will clear the power-up, but it will allow us to skip paying money bags one final time. And this time it's skipping a very significant amount. It's skipping 800 gems. So doing that, doing Spike twice is actually faster than collecting 800 gems. So especially when you're, learning the run, it's worth doing that and just doing Spike again rather than, just getting a whole bunch more gems. Unless you just like gems, which, who doesn't, I guess. That's I guess Moneybags does, which is sort of the problem. Anyway, so like I said, I just walked over to the rocket, flew the long way back to Midnight Mountain, and now we're back where we would have been if I had gotten rocket storage. So that is the amount of time that it takes. It's basically the amount of time it takes to do Spike. Now that was probably more than 2 minutes because, like I said, that was a pretty bad Spike. But I think you get the idea. Okay, so now we're going into Crystal Islands. And so now we just have to wrap up and get to 100 eggs. So as you can see, I can even shoot it in the loading screen. And so now I'm going to be using it here and then just shooting this Egg Thief, who normally you have to chase around and fly with a Super Fly power-up. But I can use that to both shoot him and teleport to the end of the level. Use the Super Fly power-up to instead fly back to the end of the level and then get us back on track. So this is another really fun skip. Well, oh no, I messed it up. Just kidding. That's actually a fun thing where you can fall off on purpose, and they just give you so much height there that you can just jump on that and just fly to the end, and it's way faster than going down that really annoying slide. So now I'm going to be talking to the end of level character, running right past him and doing some more cleanup. These last two are essentially just gliding over to him and then just doing a pretty tricky glide. This is one that I definitely have a tendency to goof whenever I'm not paying attention, especially when I don't get rocket storage and I've decided the run isn't going to PB, but I'm going to be setting it up carefully here. Okay, there. So we have to fly very widely around that because it's very easy to accidentally hit that tree. And there we go. Grab Manny, and that's Crystal Islands. So the level after this is Haunted Tomb. And this has one of, in my opinion, the hardest tricks in this entire run, which is this run's torch jump. So at the beginning of Haunted Tomb, there is this torch that has like a pixel on it that you can land on to jump straight to the end of the level and not have to run through this very difficult gauntlet of a level. But it is a very, very tight, perfect hover, so it's probably going to take me a few tries. So this is another one that I would love to get some energy from. Okay, so I'm going to be lining up here very carefully using this like stain on the floor. That's the way that I like to do this. There we go. Okay, that was like third try. That was pretty fast. I'm very, very happy with that. So even though I answered this riddle wrong, I'm super happy that we've done that on this marathon. So thank you for that good energy and those donations. Okay, so now we're going to be heading into tanks. Again, answering a riddle. This is where spamming through the dialogue can be a detriment because it's very easy to answer the wrong thing to the riddle there. And these guys are just hiding behind these. We just have to shoot them. One note that the screen is going to get shaky here in a moment because I'm actually going to swap to keyboard and mouse for just a moment as I do the second half of tanks here. Okay, so sorry about that. It gets shaky. I'm using keyboard and mouse because it's much easier to aim precisely as I try and essentially bait some of these enemies that are far away to leaving the cover that they are in. So I'm going to be shooting the left side of that one here and then moving. And what that should do is bait the enemy to run straight into it. There you go. I got him off screen there. That one I'm unsure how well I did. Okay, we got him. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Okay, this is a very stressful level. So that tanks and that torch jump, I am very cheesed. Okay, so now we're just going to be going over here. Again, just flying over the slide rather than doing the slide. Grabbing Malcolm, and then there's one more egg. We're going to be sort of going backwards through this, and hopefully not getting hit by a rock. We did not get hit by a rock. Also, happy the Mummy 25th anniversary to those who celebrate. This level is for you. And there's Haunted Tomb. Okay. So now we're essentially just wrapping up the last couple of levels. This next one is definitely a really fun theme one, is Dino Mine. We have a few things to clean up in the meantime. So yeah, another announcement or two, if you've got any on the docket.
None on the docket, but as you just heard, this run is coming to an end, so now is the time to get those in.
It absolutely is. So right there, I did a head bash. I wasn't actually on the thing I'm supposed to head bash, but if you're right next to it, it still counts anyway, which is a little bit faster. And then heading into Dino Mines. I don't know about you, but whenever I think of dinosaurs, I also think of Westerns, which is apparently what the devs thought also. So yeah, dinos with cowboy hats on. It's amazing. So I'm going to be taking a little shortcut here. Hopefully I get it first try. I did. Okay, great. That saves like 2.5 seconds, but it's always a fun one to get. I always go for it. Okay, so now we're going to be... some of these enemies we actually have to flame because they're essentially like doing a standoff with you, and if you don't flame them first, they will get you. So I'm going to be doing that, running through the level, going through another breakable wall, and getting Romy there. We have another couple more dino standoffs. Jumping over that turret. That one, if you time it wrong, that turret can definitely get you. And you can sort of get stun locked by those enemies and get hit multiple times there, so it's very good not to do that. So now we get to talk to Sheriff Wyatt, who tells us to jump, and so we jump the heck out of that level. That one's pretty straightforward, but it's honestly one of my favorites to do. Okay, so now we have we're just going to do a little bit more exploring around Midnight Mountain. We're going to be going right past the area where we are going to be fighting the final boss, but not quite yet. I'm going to be going up these stairs, getting Evie, who's sitting right up here. Speaking of the mummy. And now I'm going to be trying to position myself over here so that I can get the quick kill on this guy. Oh, I just barely missed it. That's fine. We can always just do it the old-fashioned way. Who doesn't like a good chase sequence? Okay, now we're heading into Desert Ruins. This level is another one that we're going to be seeing a couple different times. But right here at the beginning, I'm essentially just going to be beelining and trying to match some cycles. We're going to be ignoring as many enemies as possible. And once again, I don't care about gems anymore because 300 is all we need, and I am well past that, and I have not been trying to get any gems, especially because the last few levels, they just give you so many gems. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a damage boost here just to get up this, and then immediately jumping and doing a little perfect hover there, got it, to grab Andy. And then using that to get over into Sheila. You thought we were done with Sheila, weren't you? No, 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 no. We get one more Sheila level. And this one is a little nod to another platformer you may have heard of called Crash Bandicoot. So yeah, we get a little 2D level. And this one's a little bit weird because what we're basically trying to do is reduce the amount of steps that that Sheila takes, because every little hop she does, like, that's time, right? So, whoops, that was interesting. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to do one of her, like, really big leaps, because those take, like, a lot of time. So there's going to be, like, places like right here. I'm going to be turning backwards to hit that guy, because that will stop me from doing a big jump. And then again here, I'm going to be taking a step forward and sort of bumping into that ledge on purpose, because that stops me from losing time. This little section is basically just getting through it. There's little time saves everywhere that are sort of hard to see or explain. But yeah, we're just getting through it, and that's it. And we get Pete. One more egg over here right next to where we were at just a second ago. And the reason we didn't get this one earlier is because right after we get this, we are actually going to be going all the way back to Molten Crater. And this is where I'm going to be spending those 300 gems, and we're going to be seeing Sergeant Bird one more time. That's why we go and do this as like a cleanup, because we're not able to do this Sergeant Bird level until we save him. And this is just the time when it makes sense, because we also have a bunch of extra gems in order to pay money bags for a final time. All 3 games, how many gems have we given money bags, y'all? It's a lot. It is a lot. Okay, so now we have some more egg thieves to chase. These, there's not really anything fancy about them. You just have to chase them and cut these corners as good as possible. I tend to take these very safe, because if you mess up and have to take like 4 laps around chasing these guys, it can just like demoralize me. So I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to let them win the mind game. We're just going to take it safe. We're just going to make sure we get them. That's what matters. Okay, so rather than cutting that corner, we're just gonna run it. We're just gonna run it, and we're gonna grab him, hopefully right around there. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right, so we got those 2 pretty painlessly. We're gonna grab one more egg over here in Sergeant Bird, and we are really approaching the end of this run. There's Luna. Now, we get to go all the way back to Desert Ruins again, because we didn't actually finish the level earlier. We just got a bunch of eggs. So now we have to get to the end of the level. And to do that, this is a non-optional skip to do this. So this is just a little wall glide. Hopefully, first try. Okay. I was a little nervous about that one, so I'm so glad I got that first try. That one's a pretty tight little wall glide there. Okay, so you accidentally go into first person on accident, as all the experts do. And the next level. We only have one more egg, 100 eggs already, if you can believe it. And that means we are ready to defeat the sorceress. All right, and the last egg is just right over here. Very convenient. This one I'm going to be careful and hold on my D-pad to make sure I'm holding a very precise angle there and walking off into that whirlwind. For whatever reason, that whirlwind is placed off the edge of the platform, which means often if you try to jump into it, you'll just jump off. Like, it's a very trolly placement for that whirlwind. But yeah, there's a specific placement you can just walk right off. Okay, and now for the final boss. Once again, we have a 3-phase boss, and this one gives us lots of different tools with which to attack the sorceress that stole all the dragon eggs. And so yeah, let's finish this out. But first, who's this guy? Say hi, Agent 9. Bye, Agent 9. We definitely never rescue him, but he's here anyway, so I guess cool. Thanks, bud. We definitely know who you are. Okay, so she has a couple different attacks she can do. The one we want her to do ideally here is that one, the fireball, just because it's a little bit faster and lets us get into the turret. So she was a little bit unpredictable with how she runs around. Hopefully, there we go. I got her before she attacked, at least once. So there we go. We got 2 hits with the turret, which means we completed the first phase. Even if you hit her again with the turret, which is very possible to do, you can only do 2 damage in the first phase. So now we just do the same thing again here. We clear out, dodging attacks, hopefully. Waiting on Agent 9 to shoot down another balloon for us. I heard it pop. There it goes. And this one is actually the best phase of the boss. If we can get her hit once, she comes towards us, and then we can just sort of juke her around repeatedly and just clear that phase out super easily. But as you can see, she still has half of her health left. So timer, be ready. Whenever I get the last hit on the sorceress is going to be time. So we're just going to let her run around here and just wait on that balloon. Okay, so I'm going to be on the D-pad here again because this is a UFO, which means it has another axis of movement, which can make it very difficult to actually aim. So I'm going to be trying to keep the plane as flat as possible and just trying to juke her around, sort of similar to the way you do on the turret. One more hit. And time. That was a pretty good sorceress. All right, we did it. We saved all the dragon eggs. We've gone through so many different kingdoms and gotten so many gems and paid so many gems to money bags. So I don't know about you all, but I think I kind of want to torch him. What do you think? Yeah? Is it time? Oh, torch that bear. Okay, so finally, after you beat the game in Spyro 3, Moneybags is just chilling here. And now we can get our money back. So let's go and get all of our beautiful, beautiful gems for our Dragon Horde. As we're getting these gems, I just want to say thank you all so much for donating and for being here for this event. It has been absolutely wonderful to perform this for you all and just for having us. One fun fact about this is we did avoid paying Moneybags a lot of gems through our routing. And actually, the number of gems he's holding is actually equal to the number of gems that we gave him, which is fun. Okay, we'll also watch Owl hatch because we skipped all the other ones. So, yes, again, thank you so much. Thank you for meeting that incentive. Thank you for having me. I've been Roadkill Revenge. I've been honored to be here and to close out this event. So please feel free to come back tomorrow and watch all the amazing runs coming up.